What's up, gearheads? This is your local gangster and occasional blind Mike Project booking enforcer, Joey C. Listen, I have to apologize for not getting Tommy Myers yet. Someone called me a name in the chat, so I've been dousing myself with fire and scratching their name into my skin with a rusty string from the couch. What I am trying to say is I am still working on it. Anyway, welcome back, Craig. It's good to see that the extradition treaty from that foreign government where you got picked up for murdering ladyboys is still active. And here's your host, the man who's probably rethinking ever answering Hackride's first email. Blind Mike. Geary.
All right. Not even close to what I asked for the intro, but that's fine. We'll get to that later. Because it's a bit of a serious start here, where I kind of have to address, obviously, what everyone's talking about, and what everyone's here for, I'm sure. In the 1930s, the Dust Bowl took over Southwest America. And what that was such a destructive weather occurrence that basically it was a drought. And it affected, food sources and all this sort of stuff. And what happened was when one drought ended, another began. People could barely find nourishment. And it's not since that era that there's been such a hunger, a thirst that needed to be quenched in these United States. People have been coming up to me on the streets and restaurants, anywhere they could find me, and asking the question that I'm sure you've all been asking yourselves repeatedly for the last couple of weeks. Right now, Chef Lewis is grabbing his wife by the shoulders, shaking her, saying, "It's time. We're about to find out where Craig has been." What's that I hear out in the streets? Ironhead. Ironhead. America has been waiting for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Ironhead Oconee.
That was lovely intro. I appreciate that.
Finally, the wait is over.
Yeah,
Your thirst has been quenched, America.
Is this what happens when you miss a singular show?
No, I'll tell you, Craig. He's going to pretend he doesn't know what I'm doing. It's what happens when we did a show last week, for anyone that doesn't know. You guys probably didn't watch because Craig wasn't on.
Yeah.
It was filling in. We needed two people to fill Craig's shoes. I was worried no one would watch. So we got Hackride and my pal Zero Dark Tony. Mm-hmm. I thought we did a lovely job. People seemed to enjoy it. We talked about a lot of the usual topics. We had Mark Norman's Sherrod Small story, which I thought was interesting. The guests didn't seem to care for it, but I found it fascinating. Zero Dark Tony talked about being kicked out of Scientology and this new strain of Scientology. Mm-hmm. Again, another interesting topic. People thought he was lying. That's also interesting. So there's a lot to go on.
Yeah.
For how you would title that episode.
Oh, right. When
I woke up Monday morning, I realized.
Yep.
I can't believe I didn't think of this. I realized there was really only one question on everyone's mind. Because when I saw the title of the episode, it was a topic we didn't even bring up. It was really the voice of the audience begging to know, where's Craig?
Would you really blame them? Honestly, I don't.
Now, here's what I'm waiting for from this idiot. Because when I tweeted about it, he texted me to assure me it wasn't him. I said, I don't want to know anymore. Because I wanted to find out on air, either you'll admit you were lying or that you've given all my passwords out to someone else.
So I posted it,
okay.
But I said, hey, Hackride, can I please have the title and description, please?
I figured this is what you would say. Now, let me ask you this.
Yes.
This has happened many times after the Kirk Minahan show, where Steve or Dave is trying to think of a quick title to throw on the episode, and they say, hey, what from today might make a good title? Now, if I say to Dave Cullinane, you should title today's episode, Mike Slays Again. And you know what? Make the description, everyone's out of breath from laughter, thanks to Mike's great appearance. Now, if he does that, is that my fault or his?
Yeah, I know. I probably should have listened to the show before I posted it, but I listened afterwards.
That's all I really wanted to hear.
Yeah.
An idiotic title.
I was,
Where's Craig? Where could he be?
overlooking the ocean, just having a great time. Still posted. I was like, "Hey, buddy, can you send me the title?" And he said, "Sure. How about Where's Craig?" I went, "Okay."
When you went up to when you were on vacation, I imagine, maybe you and your lovely wife went to a bar or something. When you got a drink, were they like, "Show's suffering without you, man"?
They just kept patting.
When are you going to get back? Where have you been? Luckily, I know you're here, so I can be at ease.
Yeah, I'm here, guys. Don't worry about it.
Well, everyone, whatever medication you were on for the last 2 weeks is no longer necessary. Yeah, the itch has been scratched. Craig is back.
It was so long ago. I was like, "Where the fuck are you going with this?"
Now I said, apparently everyone forgot that I wanted to start this way because I said to Hackride, could you make an over-the-top welcome back Craig intro for this week? And like every time I asked for something specific, he just ignored it and did whatever the fuck he wanted.
You can't tell him what to do.
I've been waiting. Hackride will be on for a game later. I'll tell you what it's not, and that's Schaub as Batman.
It's all we've ever wanted.
That's our rock opera wedding, or I guess, because we'll never get to it. So, what we are talking about, though, enough of making this gentleman wait.
Uh-oh. Hackride's claiming slander, by the way, in the chat.
How so?
Wait a second. I was given no instructions for the intro.
I said, can you make an over-the-top welcome back Craig intro?
I think he meant over the top just in general is how he took it, probably.
Yeah, I meant make an AI version of a guy we could just get on the show. Well, Hackride can say his piece when he comes on later, but I'm sure it'll be very coherent. But we've got Carlos Danger joining us for a very important investigation we're doing here today.
Here he is.
Hey, good
Carlos,
morning.
what's happening, buddy?
Not much. Thank you so much for having me on. I love Hackride. I'm totally team Hackride.
Hackride's a great man. He just doesn't have any respect for me, but he's a good man.
In
He's an artist with principles.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Any argument, no one ever takes the side of me or Mike against Hackride. It's always Hackride.
It's very
He's
annoying.
so giving. There's just something about him. Endearing.
That's his play, is that he's nice to everybody. So they're like, oh, he's great. Isn't he adorable?
Except-
it's like that. It's like Tukey, where they're like, oh, isn't he adorable?
Except Ray DeVito. I think Hackride seems to have a problem with Ray DeVito.
Sure
That's
does.
the one guy, yeah.
Of all the people to hate.
Are you Ray DeVito's co-host or something? What is your relationship with him?
Hey, don't make me contact my lawyer. I don't know. I was a guy in the chat and I insulted him once and he invited me on and the rest is history. Then yeah, that's it. That's entry. That's how the entry is into the Dabbleverse or this related world. It's very low. But I don't know. I haven't been on in a while.
It's how lowbrow just podcasting in general is. Like, imagine if back in the day, Carson was just like, yeah, this guy insulted me in the street, so we're having him on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Why am I here? The fact I'm even here says something.
Well, so you're here today because I wanted to talk a little about this Shuli business. So I'm interested. I kind of want to talk about YouTube in general because I guess, I don't know if you heard this, Craig. Joe List's special got demonetized because he says cunt in the first 10 minutes.
Really?
Fuck, we just did it. God damn it. Well, we did the same thing, but yeah. So now they're even affecting like comedy specials. So YouTube has really gone crazy. And Carlos Danger had a couple of gentlemen on this week. So can you give us a brief synopsis of this before we get into it? Basically, Shuli's YouTube channel was shut down. Do we know if it's because this drunk on cringe was attacking him, or was it multiple people?
No, we don't know definitively that it was drunk on cringe's fault, although he is sort of claiming credit to a certain extent. He is saying, I filed 20 reports or flagged 20 different things on this like vengeance quest he has going against the network. Yeah. But I don't know. He also says that I don't know if I'm responsible because YouTube doesn't tell me. They don't like reward you. So
right. No, that part seemed fair, but he did seem like a guy that was just out for vengeance. And I actually thought you asked the best question that kind of got trampled on. But you asked him, like, does alcohol play into this? Like, are you drunkenly doing this? Because it seems like the behavior of a man who's up at 3 a.m. with looking for something to do, basically.
Right. As a fellow drunk, I identify with that. So
Yeah.
that's the hallmark. That's the root of all problems, I think. But yeah, and you know, you see him if you watch the stream that I did with him, he's not exactly sober, but drunk is in his name.
Well, let's see. So we have a couple clips from this. So let's play. I think we have Drunk on Cringe's explanation, basically, as to why he's going after Shuli.
I reported several videos about, or
Sober.
several videos, yeah, several videos about him, about, more like racism or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming at him. Fuck him.
Yeah, but Drunk on Cringe, I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just asking a question. Do you feel guilty for? I mean, this is his livelihood. This is
Guilty
Bob,
for what?
Mike,
Guilty
for
for
taking
what?
away their living of theirs. 'Cause
No,
right now
fuck
this is
Shuli. Fuck Shuli. Fuck Shuli. That's all I'll have to reply. Fuck Shuli. Fuck his life. He has a wife who sells fucking snake oil, aka some fucking magic crystals. No, fuck him. He fucked everyone. He doesn't even pay his producers well. Fuck him. Seriously.
Hey.
No.
Like this guy.
How do you say? No, I don't feel
Empathy,
bad.
sympathy.
Nothing.
But look at now.
This guy never
What
did
if?
anything in his fucking life. He always leached of other people, and he never did anything in his life. Really, he never did any.
How
day
about this
work.
though, Doc? If
Yeah.
someone you pissed off in your world over there, right? Knew what
In
you did
Germany,
for a
yeah.
living in Germany.
Yeah.
Somebody knew what you did for a living and they got pissed at you and decided to try to get you fired from your job and cost you.
Then I get a fucking new job, because even if I get fired from my fucking job, I have experience. I have everything. I used to work. I get a new job
All right,
somewhere.
maybe
else.
that wasn't a great analogy, but
It actually was a decent analogy. I wish Obnoxious John didn't lose confidence in that, because it is a good analogy in the sense that if you get fired for people claiming you're a racist or a homophobe or whatever the claims you have to make on YouTube to get someone shut down, if you get fired for those reasons, that could easily ruin your career. Like if anyone calls references and asks, why'd you get rid of this guy? That's a black mark that's on you now. So that's just kind of idiotic of him to think that he'd be totally fine if people started doing that to him.
And the fact that when you get to the root of his reasons for targeting Shuli like he is, to me, it's like, I mean, imagine if growing up, you got mad at Fonzie, the character on Happy Days, and then wanted to shut down production for the entire show. It's like, the lines there. It's like, why are you getting so mad at this guy on the internet that you want to affect him in real life? I didn't get that, but it was pure vengeance. He was bringing up the way Shuli manages the channel, the way he treats his producers.
Right.
It's like, who gives a shit?
Which that's a smokescreen. He doesn't give a fuck if how much he pays his producers or doesn't pay them, whatever. It's really that he doesn't like Shuli. He doesn't think Shuli's funny, and it annoys him. Whatever it is that we'll get into the blackmail angle of this, but whatever it is he wants from Shuli, that angle annoys him. But here's my main issue with all of this, and I wanted your take on this, Carly, because the Fonzie analogy. I'm sure in 1973 or whatever, there was some nut that blamed Fonzie for all the world's problems and was writing letters to NBC. The issue was they never got to them back in the day. People didn't panic over some maniac's complaints. My issue now is more with YouTube, because people can just do this. If you're bored enough or have enough free time, you can sit on the internet all day and make copyright strikes or copyright claims, and eventually just the algorithm will trigger something that gets people's channels shut down. That's really I don't necessarily, I blame this guy if he's at fault, but what I blame more is like the system. We should be complaining about YouTube rather than going after some drunk in Germany who's bitching about Shuli,
I agree with you 100%. And Cranberry Electric, another YouTube page, did like an editorial on this. And in that, he pointed out, this is allegedly a guy who's exploiting a system that's there for a reason. And the fact you can exploit it so easily and just false copyright claim something and get a channel taken down for no reason other than, for shits and giggles, it's bizarre. Of course, it's guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Right.
And then the whole process of to defend yourself, you have to dox yourself to random strangers. YouTube it's the whole thing is fucked up.
It's become very bad, and they're doing a lot of the things that like network broadcast fell victim of, where they are trying to censor people. And the reason I mentioned the Joe List thing is like whatever their algorithm was before would at least, like, when stand-up comedy specials were uploaded to YouTube, they were kind of excluded from a lot of this shit. Like, if we curse in the first 10 minutes or whatever, I guess we get demonetized. It seemed like that wasn't the case for a long time with YouTube specials, and now it is. So if that happens enough, now stand-ups are going to find other places to put their podcast. This is why, like, YouTube, by doing this, is letting Rumble become a platform. If YouTube wasn't making these mistakes, Rumble would have been done months ago, because I don't think it's as good. Like, the app isn't as good.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not as convenient to watch programming. But if they keep forcing people that have an audience onto Rumble, then, like right now, it's a segmented right-wing thing. But like, take Shuli as an example. That's not a right-wing show. It's just they're mocking some drunk on the internet. If they start pushing those people to Rumble, that's bad news for YouTube, because that's a large chunk of their content.
Yeah, and I asked him specifically, tell me one thing you flagged. What? Because he was he didn't really give too many specifics.
Right.
But he said hate speech, because Bob Levy on the Shuli network, there's a running gag where, Bob's having a pool built. And so when they need to kill time on the BS show, they start talking about Bob's woes and getting this pool constructed. And he says, the diggers are here, the diggers. Right. And they're using it inappropriately to some extent.
Right.
I mean, it's clearly humor. You can argue it's hacky, it's not funny, but to classify that as hate speech, and if it works, yeah, that's not good, obviously.
Yeah, and this is where I think a lot of this type of audience eats its own, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because this is what happened to like the Opie and Anthony subreddit, where they lost Opie and Anthony. So they got bored and started going after like each other. They would get Anthony's brother's gigs canceled, and then they would go after Anthony, and they would go after individuals on the subreddit. And that's what I worry about this group, the WATP world, or whatever, the dabblers, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's starting to become kind of toxic. And that's why I like being somewhat on the outside a little bit, looking at it all, because I think like what Shuli has done to Stuttering John now is becoming more than observe and report. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, we'll play the next clip we have is about the blackmail. So Shuli popped into your show when you guys were interviewing Drunk on Cringe. And this is him addressing the blackmail element of all of this and Drunk on Cringe's motives.
You send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll read it if you want, because it's right here. And the DM says the following: it wasn't my channel that it wasn't your channel that got struck.
Dude, everybody has already.
Thank you. I appreciate it, because you've had your time. You've said what you needed to say. Now I'm going to say.
You already.
And by the way, my channel didn't get struck. Your channel did. You rely on your channel. I don't. Mine is a fucking hobby. Don't come at me, bro. I used YouTube for ages. You can buy people to strike a channel like you bought Twitter followers. It's quite easy. So don't treat me like a fucking kid. I know you love to do this condescending thing. I'm not much younger than you, my friend, but I've been doing this much longer, and your livelihood depends on your channel. So back the fuck off. Now, here's the interesting part is right after that, I have yet to respond. You write. So here's the deal. You write on Twitter that we made up. There is no stress and everything's fine. I will do the same. Then we ignore each other. Deal? Deal? So is that not a threat? Is that not blackmail? You do this or else?
Shuli's crying.
Yeah, so I don't understand what Drunk on Cringe is doing there, where he is legitimately blackmailing him. And it's like, it's basically, who is Drunk on Cringe, by the way? Because I've heard Carl mention him a couple times and say he's bought like shirts from him or something. Is this someone I should know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Deep Dabbleverse, I guess, or the extended Dabbleverse. He's a guy, clip show for the Hackverse. Launched about 7 months ago. did funny clips, particularly about Ray DeVito. He would capture the essence of Ray DeVito in clips. He then started to he went on camera, right, with Ray DeVito in that whole pink blanket thing. And then the Shuli Network were selling Ray-tard shirts, and Ray was upset about that. Drunk on Cringe sided with Ray and set up a merch shop for Ray. Once he went in front of the camera, Patrick Melton from Nobody Likes Onions said, hey, this guy's cringe. He's the guy that has Drunk on Cringe and makes fun of all these other people, and then you get him in front of a camera and look at him. Shuli Network, I'm going into the whole story if you need me to shut up. Shuli Network links to that video, and that set Drunk on Cringe off and set up those series of messages that Shuli then made public once he felt he was blackmailed.
So what have people like turned on this guy, or what's the temperature in the room on this battle?
Yeah, his YouTube page is now gone. I don't know why. His Twitter account is suspended. I saw on either Hackverse Anonymous or Shuli's Anonymous on Reddit that his Reddit account is gone. So yeah, there's been a lot of negative feedback, including some for our interview, because he's muted at that point. He sort of tried. We had him on for 23 minutes, and then Shuli was texting me, out of his mind, this is bullshit, let me in. And so then I let him in. But not Hackverse, Drunk on Cringe, just so many fucking names. He started doing that thing. He's just going, nah, into, so nobody could be heard. So that's why
it's a lot.
He got muted.
He's talking over.
Yeah. So
here's my issue now and this is why it's very frustrating, because like, I agree, this guy was wrong and shouldn't have gone after Shuli. If I was Shuli, I would be pissed. But now it sounds like if his Twitter's suspended and his YouTube channel's gone, it sounds like people are using the same tactics to go after him. And to me, that's very Stuttering John. We've been making fun of Stuttering John for that, for saying, well, I went after people's gigs because they went after mine. It's like, okay, yeah, I get. Okay, it doesn't solve anything. And that's where it becomes very toxic, because now people that hate Shuli or support Drunk on Cringe are going to go after Shuli, and vice versa. And then if people perceive this as me supporting one side or the other, the people that hate me for that will go after this channel. And it's like, I don't like living in a world where I think if I talk about this topic, are people going to take my YouTube channel away? Like, that seems pretty shitty all the way around. So I just wanted to tell everyone to grow the fuck up and knock this shit off. It's fun to make fun of the likes of Stuttering John, but this idea that now we have to like get involved is very silly. Everyone sit on your own YouTube channels, make jokes. Don't feel like you need to get involved by reporting people or flagging things or any of that horseshit. It's very annoying.
It's pretty crazy that it's that easy to do too.
Well, that's why my main issue is with YouTube. It's like, I understand YouTube's a massive, or Google is a massive company. So I understand that maybe they don't have time they don't have the resources to all day be monitoring every single claim that comes through. But my advice would be ignore most claims. Most claims are bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, maybe you have to look into them. But I think it should be ignore most claims, not respond to most claims and then figure it out later.
Right, or let us know, be more transparent. Something's got to be better than what they have.
Yeah.
That's the problem when there's not humans actually doing that job.
So the other thing I wanted a little more clarity on, because I'm watching, this makes me feel less bad for Shuli now, because I'm watching Stuttering John yesterday, and I'll admit, Stuttering John has a way of sucking me in, where when he gets into this tone where he's like, oh, guys, I'm here today to discuss this cesspool of ridiculousness. When he gets into that tone where he's like somber, I'm like, what's happened to this poor man? Let me listen to his woes. And then he'll tell this story of how like Shuli tricked him into using a swastika, basically, to get him suspended from Twitter. And that's where I look at it and I'm like, well, Shuli, you're fucking up, because that's more than, as Carl says, observe and report. Now you're getting involved and trying to fuck with this guy. And while, YouTube might not be the same resource, Twitter might not be the same resource that YouTube is as far as monetization. Like, my biggest following is on Twitter. I don't know how much that actually promote. Like, I don't know how many people right now are watching because I tweeted out the link, but it is my largest promotional, other than going on the Kirk Minahan show. Twitter is the largest like platform I have to be like, hey, I'm doing a show today. So if your Twitter gets taken away, that is a promotional tool you're losing. So if Shuli's trying to fuck with Stuttering John, it's like, how much sympathy can you have for him? Because now he's doing the same shit, apparently.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. Although I don't know. I think Shuli's motivation there, and again, I'm just speculating on a hypothesis. Right. What the fuck do I know? It wasn't necessarily to get him kicked off or have any real life consequences. I think it was a prank and content for the show. There's a great video. I think it's Hack vs. Anonymous, where they clip that part, and hindsight being 2020, they're all reacting in a way like they knew it was going to happen. It seemed like it was a bit for the show. But yeah, I observe and report, and that was a shitty thing to do. You don't need to generate content that way because John will just do it for you. If he's slow on Wednesday, he'll fuck up something on Thursday. I also don't know if I buy John's claim that Shuli got him fired, which I guess is something that's out there.
No. That I don't believe. You know what? The reason I don't believe John with that shit is he's a pathological liar. But more so, the reason I don't believe him is that these things pop up when it's convenient for John. It was forever. John wasn't going back to teaching. And he would combat people and say, oh, you really think they tried and failed to get me fired from teaching? And it was all this like kind of tough guy talk, but it was that he was in great standing with teaching. Then it was, I don't want to go back to teaching. I'm not even going to take the tests needed to go back to teaching. But then when it's convenient for John, all of a sudden, Shuli and the trolls got me fired. And it's like, okay, well, where's that been for the last 6 months? Because you weren't saying that before.
And I would place money that there's not a single public school district in the United States that would keep a guy without tenure that's on the internet behaving that way. That's not necessarily right. I don't know if I agree with it, but there's no way you're going to get a job in teaching. No, teachers, they all lock their shit down in terms of social media.
I forget if I said this on the show, but I remember texting Carl this the day it was when John was doing shows with Chad. And I remember playing the clip on here. We did talk about it because we played the clip where John is talking about Anthony Cumia, and he threatens to take his gun and pistol whip him.
Yes,
and he says, "I know where you keep your gun, and I take it and bash your brains in with it." And that's I'm setting aside all the other language and cursing and all the stuff that John does, threatening people. This was a physical threat against Anthony Cumia, where he's kind of graphically talking about bashing his brains in. Now, I don't have a problem with that on a podcast. Do what you got to do, whatever. And I would never think of contacting a school or anything. But I was just imagining, and I asked Craig, because Craig has kids. I was like,
and guns.
If you and guns, if you turned on YouTube one day and one of your kids' teachers was talking like that, wouldn't you feel compelled to be like, hey, listen, I don't want to cost anyone their job, but my kid cannot be in this guy's class?
That would happen in mass. No parent would want their kid in that class. I got two young kids myself. There's no way. There's no way. It's tough.
And that's something that's not trolling. That's like being concerned for the youth of America, for God's sake.
Yeah, I don't get John's whole thing with the whole teaching angle. It's just so bizarre.
He's trying to sound sophisticated and smart because he gets ripped on for being the complete opposite all the time, and teaching makes him feel good, I think.
Well, that he's really been leaning. I mean, he's always done this, but I heard him leaning into it a lot the last couple episodes, where he's like, if you're gonna criticize me in the chats, how about spelling it correctly, using proper grammar? and this is a great one, where they're like, a super chat comes in and he'll read it and be like, John, you're a drunk. You really need help. Oh yeah. And you think he's about to come back with here's a reason I'm not a drunk. But he says, how about you're a drunk? YOU''RE. And it's like, yeah, John, you nailed him. That was the central point of that message.
Friggin' burn, dude.
You're still a drunk.
God bless Stuttering John.
Well, Carlos, would you want to stick around? We have a couple Stuttering John clips if you want to hang out for some more fun stuff.
If you'll have me, sure.
Okay. First, tell people where they can find you, for God's sake. We'll do a couple plugs here.
Oh, I appreciate that. Insufferable Bastards is my podcast. It's on YouTube. It's me and that floating anus, the obnoxious John. He's a co-host now. And this guy, Spears, who's a special effects makeup artist who is confused as to why he's even on the stream sometimes.
Have you moved away from movie talk? Or do you still do movies?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm definitely this Dabbleverse stuff is definitely a cult. It's taken up all my time because basically we do a wrap-up show of what we found interesting this week on these various gutter casts and stuff like that. So I've stopped watching movies. I rarely leave my basement at this point. I have to watch Melton and the BS show, and then I do work a full-time job.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I can't stop at this point. So it's a small channel. It's we get like 1,000 views on a live stream, and that's fine.
I think the first time I ever heard of you was you guys broke down One Too Many, and I think you did an excellent job breaking it down. It was very well done.
Oh, I appreciate that because that was the opposite reaction of the comments. People hated that one, but well, yeah, you know how it is.
I thought it was very good, but
I do appreciate that.
I do have a couple drops from that movie when you want to use them, but I feel like I have to ask for those ones.
Well, okay, let's give some examples of things that might get you taken off YouTube, I suppose. If Stuttering, if you were to come across One Too Many and say, this guy's teaching my kids, this might not be a great thing to hear.
Shut up, you faggot.
You see?
Yeah, that movie is something.
It really it holds up well. That was our main takeaway from watching it. But
you fucking cocksucker, bone smoking faggot homo piece of shit.
Jeez, John.
Well, there's no way we're on YouTube anymore, so that's good.
Disavow.
Yes, and go to you know what? Let me promote this first. Go to verygoodshow.org if you want more drops like that.
Yeah.
And for this program, if you want to support this show, go to blindmike.net. You can find all the free links to not just this podcast, but also Why You Laughing and Who Are These Socials that I do every Thursday with Carl, every Thursday at 6. So check out all the links for that. YouTube, if you're watching right now on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe, tap the notification bell. All that stuff helps the algorithm, supposedly. Leave a comment, and subscribe to the Patreon or become a YouTube member, either one. Most people seem to enjoy the Patreon. If YouTube's easier, feel free to subscribe there. But all that supports the show. Blindmike.net, easiest place to find all of those links. So we have, speaking of Stuttering John, we have a couple drops. So just recently, it's coming out. It's on Patreon now, and it's coming out this week. We had Drew Lane on from the Drew and Mike Show on Why You Laughing, because he's a longtime Michigan radio guy, and he was on air on September 11th, 2001. And I thought it'd have an interesting perspective because the topic on Why You Laughing this week is the Howard Stern Show on September 11th, 2001. So we broke that down. We had a couple great John moments. And there was one clip I didn't pull because I figured we had enough John. I regret it in hindsight. But luckily, John gave us an excuse to play it here. So John's been doing these, like, he's been getting obliterated because he goes to the pub and watches the Yankees game. And then at night he comes home and does Casey Armstrong's show on YouTube. It's always interesting to watch Stuttering John in the afternoon and then watch him at night. You get to see how his day progressed, how much he's slurring more and more. But for whatever reason, the subject of 9/11 came up on Casey Armstrong's show. So do we have that, Craig?
Sure do.
All right, so let's play that. And then we'll give you a little perspective, what was going through John's mind on the day. Luckily, we have sound from that day to give this clip a little context.
You could smell
it. Now I'm going to blow your mind, all right?
Yeah.
My father was, an engineer, and he worked for the Port Authority, and all his life he worked in the World Trade Center. And he was there the first terrorist attempt, which was
93.
the bomb. Yeah, he was there, and he was evacuated. He, that day, was going to the World Trade Center to visit his friends.
9/11.
Was retired or something?
Yeah, at the World Trade Center.
That day.
That day. So me, my mom, and my family had no idea if he was in the building or not because cell phones were...
All the cell phones, you couldn't talk to anybody, right? Right. Holy shit.
So we didn't know until like 8 o'clock that night that my father didn't go there because they ended up meeting at the Lincoln Tunnel.
Always going to get a nice belch in the middle of a 9/11 story.
Straight from the heart.
It was one of those ones that just kind of falls out of your gut too. Just whiff.
Yeah. So just so everyone knows, for the full context, because I know at the beginning it sounds like maybe he's talking about the first 9/11. Based on the context, no, he's talking about
First 9/11.
the first World Trade Center. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 9/11.
I didn't even get the context of that. God damn it, John. He's talking about the parking. Come on, that wasn't the real one, John. Nobody remembers that.
No, he was. He was saying that his father was there for both, basically both.
Okay.
Because, well, supposedly, because on 9/11 they were worried. Like, did he make it out okay? And this was how concerned John was on 9/11. So this is the audio from that day when John apparently knew that his father was going in to visit his buddies. This is how concerned John was.
And I just want to people down there? Now.
You do? I do too.
My father used to work in that building.
Who does?
My father used to work.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we know tons of people down there.
Mr. X used to work in that building.
Yeah.
They just move on. John was like, my father used to work in that building. John's claiming he does this impassioned speech on Casey Armstrong's show, like, we had no idea what my father, and it wasn't until 8 at night, which if he wasn't there, why wouldn't you know before 8 o'clock at night?
No kidding.
No, I'm right here, actually. Don't worry about me. So yeah, John made it seem like he has this 9/11 story, and when in reality, he's just like, oh yeah, my dad 15 years ago might have been there.
Right. Meanwhile, there was families of cops and firefighters that day, legitimately wondering where their family members were, and of course, employees and workers and all that. And my brother's was NYPD at that time, so what the fuck, John?
Well, John's talking like he also said like he had to leave the show early to make sure his kids were safe.
I've heard that many times.
Yeah, he left at a regular hour. I think he left after 10 a.m. but so I recommend going to listen to that episode because we have a bunch of clips. What's great is Howard. They're talking about Howard had basically like a date with Pam Anderson, sort of a thing, an intimate moment with Pam Anderson, and they're talking about that when the first plane hits. And then they didn't realize how serious it was. So a couple times they try to circle back to that. Then there's a few moments that everyone in the room except for John realized how serious this moment was. And John's asking all these, he's like, can we get back to Pam's tits, Howard? And Howard doesn't even pay him any mind. He's like, why is this idiot in this room? It's hilarious.
Yeah, the second plane hits and he's like, Howard, you ever seen Swordfish?
All right, what's the other Stuttering John sound we have today while we're on him?
Talking about trolls ruining his teaching job.
Oh, okay. We talked about this earlier. This is perfect, actually.
Here we go.
I'm just fucking. Yeah, I'm screwing with you, buddy. Hey, so I got to know, like when you, I know you do a bunch of shows during the day. My one thing is, before I was going to ask what you were doing at the bar, is that you loved teaching, and it seems like you were making a difference, like with that kid and stuff like that. How come you're not going to? Because I think school's opening up now. How come you're not going back to teach?
It's a long story, Case.
Is that John's lying?
You in
very long story. And I'll tell you in private.
Okay, all right. Not for the. It's not something that is interesting.
It's something that the trolls did, and I don't want to talk about it.
It's something I'm about to make up and haven't figured out yet.
When I think of a good lie, I'll tell you.
Carlos Danger, can you imagine a scenario where the trolls cost John something and he wouldn't immediately blab the story?
That's a good point, because I'm sitting here thinking, I bet you some people did contact wherever he is, for that thrill of fucking with John. But at the same time, John, you are who you are on the internet.
There's a great chance that the principal of that school went, hey, I just found a clip of you threatening to pistol whip somebody.
Or any clip that he does any day where he's shit-faced, he's threatening people, he's calling men little girls and gay and saying that you're gay if you don't have kids. And
it'd be funny if the superintendent was like Kinky Loco in the chat this whole time. That's the superintendent of the school district.
Yeah. Speaking of Kinky Loco, $5 super chat. Don't share this with Carlos.
Son of a bitch.
Fine.
Uh,
If you insist.
Chef Lewis, $2 says Ola Gearheads.
Hello, buddy.
We got Joe from Virginia, $5. Love the show, Mike. Great job. The Havre de Grace 6 will ride again one day.
One day, buddy. Once we have licked our wounds properly.
Justin Trudell, $20.
Justin, Jesus Christ.
Stop it, Justin.
Knock it off.
Happy late birthday, Mr. Blind Michael. Glad to see your wish came true and Craig has been found.
Thank you, but well, yeah, I was worried if I said it out loud, it wouldn't come true. But when I blew out the candles, just tell me where Craig is, please.
Stealth Chaos, I believe this is 500 something, some Asian denomination.
Okay.
Melton AI enhanced Shuli just moved his platform to TikTok where it really belongs.
Melton enhanced. I don't know what that means.
I don't get it. I don't either. But I'm just reading as I see.
I think it's an insult at Shuli.
Gotcha.
Saying his level of content is TikTok level, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
he's gonna blow up and become super famous.
maybe. Look at the Pete Gurgio route. By the way, I have been looking every week to see if Pete Gurgio has posted again. This man is a ghost. He's disappeared.
He's left us.
Do you know who Pete Gurgio is, Carlos Danger?
I do not. I'm an ignoramus.
He's one of our favorite characters ever. He's an LA comedian that got TikTok famous. He has millions of followers on TikTok. And he made these clips where he's doing his stand-up bits. And if you just watch it at a glance, it looks and sounds like he's in a comedy club and crushing. Like the audience is really loving it. Upon minor examination, you realize he's in his living room recording these bits in front of like a green screen or a curtain or something.
Yep.
And he puts in the laugh track afterwards.
It's terrible. It's awful.
And I just heard Dan Soder on another podcast recently. I guess he because Soder's the first one I heard talk about this guy. It got back to Dan that the guy's like, he owns it. Like Pete Gurgio is just like, yeah, that's the game now. And real comedians are like, no, I don't think it is.
Guys are trying to ham it. I get it.
I don't think the game is recording bits to no one and pretending they're crushing. That's a rough game if that's the case.
Every laugh track he puts in is the entire place just losing their minds.
Uproarious applause.
I gotta check it out. Explosions of laughter.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Pete Gurgio has not posted in months. It's very, very upsetting.
We got a super chat from the Creep Off channel.
I was on the Creep Off recently.
They mentioned that $10. Mike, thanks for doing the bonus episode last week. Hello to Craig and Carlos, even though they never call or write. XOXO Vinny.
Yes, I was on the Creep Off. They inducted Chris D'Elia into the Hall of Fame, and they needed an expert on. So I was their panelist.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's my lot in life. That's what I'm called for. When there's a rapist loose, they bring me in to discuss.
I told him, I said, don't do a kiddie porn.
All right, we're getting very good show drops now.
No, that was a Blind Mike one. That was from Quincy.
Oh, I forgot about that. The Warthog got me a birthday gift. It was a TV guide from when Monahan and Quincy were on the cover.
Oh, that's actually awesome.
That's a pretty good gift. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Do we have the Johnny Cush clip that I sent you last night?
From with Cardiff?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the other thing I think you'll enjoy, Carlos Danger, while we have you. Are you familiar with this Johnny Cush beef?
A little bit, yeah. He's the guy. WATP featured him, and he's responded.
Yeah. So I'm part of the Cush army. I'm a big Johnny Cush fan. I think it's about time this smug prick Carl got taken down a couple notches. I put my weapons down Thursdays at 6 for Who Are These Socials, but outside of that, hour and a half, I'm a Cush army soldier. And Johnny Cush was talking about mostly Carl. My name got mentioned in there briefly, but the one I found very interesting is now he's bringing Cardiff into the mix here. And apparently he has discovered who Cardiff is.
Oh,
now,
good.
Cardiff, I apologize for doxing you here, but when Johnny Cush reports, we listen. So it's about time we all learn the real Cardiff Electric that Johnny Cush is about to expose.
Okay, one other thing. I gotta mention one thing before we leave, and there's a guy that's harassing me like there's no tomorrow. And I don't know if you know who this
Pause
guy
1 second. I should set this up a little better. So last time I was on WATP, this guy started going after Carl, so we talked about him. His podcast, this is not our editing or anything. He sounds like he's on AM radio. Like it's the worst audio quality you've ever heard. I don't know how he could get it to sound that badly. Because it's not like a bad microphone. It sounds like bad transmission. It's crazy.
Like he's in a bunker underground somewhere.
Yeah. But he has a co-host tonight, some woman who he keeps saying what a sexy voice she has. She sounds like a Midwestern housewife. Like it didn't do much for me, but Johnny Cush, his penis is working again, so he seemed fully aroused. So sorry, this is them talking about Cardiff.
You don't, because I haven't told you about him yet, but this guy's name is Cardiff.
What is it?
Cardiff.
Cardiff?
Whoa.
Cardiff.
Yes.
Cardiff?
Cardiff.
No, he's saying Cardiff. It's very clear. What's wrong with you, dumb bitch?
When you do AM hack fucking conversation, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, this sounds like an illegal recording.
Yeah.
Why is it always from like Tony Michaels and Stuttering John doing this? For whatever reason, it's always Carl at the center of this, this bit where people are like, what's the name of the podcast? His name's Kevin from what is it? It's not a good bit. I don't understand it. Yes, it's possible to not know the name of something. It doesn't mean they're not successful. I don't get it. If I was talking about, what is his name? Hank Stern is the radio host? I don't understand. It doesn't make him any less successful. I don't get that bit, but it's done constantly for whatever reason.
Let's continue here.
DIFF. Cardiff. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was sent some information about this guy. This guy's been talking shit, sending like crude emails, voice emails to me and shit on my phone. And this guy's nuts. So what this guy does is he goes on and he pretends he puts his lips on a potato. You remember how Conan O'Brien used to do the skits where
I truly don't know how to make audio sound like this bad.
I don't think you could with any mic equipment. Like, I don't know how you would get it to sound this bad because you'd have to put it through fucking amplitude modulation or whatever it is.
I'm sure
I don't know how you could make it sound this bad.
I'm sure I couldn't post, but I don't know how to do that live. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's live. And he's talking to this whole episode. He's talking about how much better the microphones are now. He's like, boy, we really upgraded the equipment. Finally, people can, get a pristine broadcast.
You remember how Conan O'Brien used to do the skits where they would cut the guy's mouth out and there'd be lips behind it?
Yeah. Oh, that's creepy looking. That's silly. Go on.
So this guy goes around and
what a hot voice, right, guys?
He's like, I think he's Carl, to be honest with you, but
yeah, probably is.
That's a whole other.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing puppetry if Cardiff was Carl? They've had literal conversations with each other.
I was going to say the classic, if you ever seen them in the same place, but I do every single week.
Constantly. Too much, you might argue.
Yes.
Much information. We don't even have time to get into it tonight. But so I found out today, Cardiff Electric actually is a real company.
Okay.
And this man Cardiff is awaiting trial for murdering 2 people at a car wash.
My God.
I knew something was off with him.
His research doesn't even make sense. I found out Cardiff Electric was a company, and he's awaiting trial.
The company's killing people. Like Silk.
Cardiff, why would you do it?
What's this guy's name again? Cush?
Johnny Cush, yeah. Sometimes it's funny. He must get auto-corrected because some of his descriptions, it says Johnny Cash. And I'm like, oh, that's great for branding. Makes it an easy Google search.
Makes it go viral.
Yeah.
I got to text Kevin Brennan and be like, next guest, Johnny Cush hates Carl.
Oh, that would, honestly, you should try to get him on Kevin Brennan's show.
Thanks. Really?
This isn't, and it wasn't a intentional murder. It was a murder committed by an idiot who didn't know how to do electricity, but yet has been in been an electrician for 30 years. He wired the car wash wrong. Two people are out. They start washing their car. Hits a live spark, flies them right there.
Oh my God.
And now he plays a potato online.
That's a great, I gotta say, shame on Cardiff Electric. Terrible alias if you're awaiting murder trial. To use the name of your company that's apparently slaughtering people. This Johnny Cush guy is a great character. It's tough. His longevity, I think, is tough because I think what Carl's finding out now is like he plays. I can't tell if he's legitimately insane or has like the mind of a 6-year-old where he just makes up shit like we have thousands of listeners all over the world. Like he just says shit that isn't true, but it seems like he believes it. And I think he believes this like Cardiff Electric is a murderer thing. If it's a bit, he's not doing a great job. And if it's real, it's not an interesting character. It's weird. I don't know how to take it.
If it's real, it's terrifying because it gives me the impression like right after this, he's planning something, like that guy, where it was in the Midwest or wherever it was. He got in a tank essentially and ran down City Hall. Killdozer. Guy who has a lot of zoning disputes on his background or something.
Oh yes, Killdozer. That's
Killdozer.
right.
Killdozer. Yes.
That's Mike Harris's favorite guy that's ever lived, I think.
That's right. Yeah,
sort of an anti-hero.
Very good show.
But he would leave behind a voicemail like this. It would sound exactly like this.
Yeah, this is where I'm kind of wondering. I want to promote this guy mainly because I'm thinking if he gets enough attention, there may be sort of a John Lennon situation with Carl, where he's gunned down in the streets by Johnny Cush. And that'd be fun for all of us, I think.
Hello, YouTube.
Oh, he's got to live with that.
Oh, God damn it.
There's
I'm
more.
kidding, YouTube.
Oh, he's got to live with that. He's probably going fucking crazy.
He's still, he's got manslaughter charges against him. He's still waiting a court date, this guy.
That's kind of sad. I'm sure if he didn't intentionally mean to kill him, that's bad. I kind of feel for him. But you're not going to send me the email.
Within a matter of seconds, they've felt compassion for Cardiff Electric, who brutally murdered multiple people. So yeah, I just wanted to expose Cardiff Electric. It was about time this guy got his comeuppance, and it's enough hiding behind the potato. We know who you are now.
I agree with that. I am Team Cush in that regard. I can't tell you how many fat jokes Cardiff has lobbed my way on various streams and Twitter. He's a son of a bitch.
It's enough already. Yeah, he has slandered Why You Laughing before. I don't care for that sort of humor.
But he's also talked it up at almost 2 seconds later. So
yeah, that's the tough thing about Cardiff Electric, because maybe while he was murdering these people, he also delivered a baby. That's the kind of guy he is. He brings life into the world and takes it away. Johnny Cush is an interesting guy because I've never encountered. There's no one that's that delusional. Like there are a lot of people in radio and podcasting that like lie about their audience, but he's someone who has no one listening to him and pretends it's thousands of people. Like there are radio guys that don't have an audience and pretend they are number one, but on some level there are at least a couple thousand. They're on the radio. So there got to be a couple thousand people accidentally listening to them. With Johnny Cush, it's literally no one, and he's pretending he's a famous guy. So I think that's a legitimate, like, schizophrenic.
Or he's steel toe, right? Isn't that the same thing?
Or he's steel toe. He could be Aaron. Oh, are you? Let me ask you this, Carlos, because I've been looking for someone to. Are you a steel toe hater? Do you like what they do, or?
I mean, I'm not a fan. I'd listen to them when they were doing the Chad Zumach stuff. I was part of that pile on. I thought that was entertaining. But I mean, I don't hate them. I'm not like, I don't wish them jail time or thrown off their channel or anything like that. But
could you explain to me the hatred? Because like I've tried, I think the begging for money is very douchey, very cringy, and not sustainable. But other than that, like, is it just that bothers people, or is their content bad? Because I haven't found a ton of clips where I'm like, oh, I have to go at this guy because he's, Tom Myers level cringy. It's really just the begging for money that bothers me.
Well, speaking of, we got some super chats if you like.
Well, we'll get to those in a moment, but let Carlos answer first.
I think it comes down to the fact, like he just had that event at Stoney's, right, or wherever in Minnesota, and it's sold out, and good for him. I think some people don't like him because he is essentially a local radio guy. That's his forte. He has a following there in Minnesota, I guess, for a while, but he builds himself up as this great broadcaster. I mean, the WATP reaction to the WATP guest host episode about Steel Toe. I don't know if I'm making sense. I thought Carl hit it on the head. The way Aaron was comparing himself to Anthony Cumia, and it didn't sound like it was a bit, bragging about what a great broadcaster he is. And it's like there's an arrogance there that I think turns some people off. And the obsession with money is a thing. I also think if you've watched Melton do his stuff on Steel Toe, it's hard to, he like changed my view of Steel Toe because he made a lot of good points.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, I don't know what Melton's point was. I'll have to check that out. But like, I think overall, I agree with most people that a lot of it is cringy. The act of like, I'm the greatest broadcaster. And because I literally heard him say, like, he named 3 people. He said it was like Anthony Cumia. There was another name he threw out there. And he's like, and other than those 2 people, there's really not another better broadcaster on the planet than me.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Do you believe that? Like, do you believe that that's true?
Yeah. I also, but that being said, I don't get the intense, want to murder a guy hatred.
That's the part I don't understand, is it doesn't seem to me like the hatred matches the douchiness. Where like John's a fascinating character. And I think a lot of the things that he does deserves a genuine reaction, like where I can understand people getting angry at some of the shit John does. Aaron Imholt just seems like kind of a douche, but like whatever. He does a fine enough show from what I've seen, right? Or maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I'm not. It is what it is. It's not worth the time, I think. But hey, people like it. That's good for them. I have, my shitty podcast once a week. We've been doing Dabbler of the Week, and sort of as a goof, I named Aaron the Dabbler of the Week because he had the whole he sold out Stoney's. He hit 10,000 subscribers thanks to Kevin Brennan. I got like people were legit angry. I got a couple of messages, and I'm a small YouTube channel on Twitter. It's showed up in chats. What a piece of shit I am. And it's like, whoa, I was kidding. But there's some people like there's no humor. There's a deep hatred for him.
Well, Shuli has the same thing where I did Shuli's show once. He had me on, and like we've talked about him. This is maybe like the 3rd or 4th time we've talked about him. And in those moments, I haven't shit on him, and I'll get comments afterwards like, how does Shuli's nuts taste? And
Shuli
great job
cucks.
sucking Shuli off. And I'm like, what am I supposed? He's been nice enough to me. Am I supposed to go on like, hey, fuckhead? What am I supposed to do? Why would I hate him? I have no reason to.
Yeah, it's intense.
All right. I don't think we have any Dabbleverse stuff. Carlos, if you want to stick around for the other nonsense that we do, you're more than welcome. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. You've been very generous. So up to you.
I should dip out. That was my dog barking about an hour ago, and God knows where it shit upstairs. So I should probably handle that.
Go check out Insufferable Bastards everywhere you get it. Go check out what's the YouTube channel so people can find it?
I think Insufferable Bastards podcast, something like that.
Perfect. Go check out Carlos Danger. I enjoy his work that I've seen, so make sure you follow him. He's a friend of the show now, for God's sake. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, brother. All right, now back to basics. Just me and Craig. Like people have been, hey, one by one, people are getting what they want. Every time someone leaves the screen that isn't Craig, people are like, thank God.
That's right.
More Craig time.
We got some super chats to get to.
All right, let's catch up on those.
Use the Entertainment Collateral is a 5-star classic FCD.
Okay.
Justin again.
The more okay, hey Justin, keep donating. Thank you.
Yes, he doesn't like
I
to
think you have
listen.
to use reverse psychology with this guy.
He doesn't like to listen. That's right. Craig with the drops, fire emojis. He's back. Ouija says $5. Thank you, sir. Mike, if you do another Craigless episode, you're gonna need 2 canes.
I know. I'll need all the support I can get. That's true.
Sarah sent in 2 super stickers. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
We got Manny Muskets, $2. Killdozer equals American hero. Happy Labor Day. Fuck yeah.
I'm speaking of Justin, I'm excited to go in and I think John Rich is the clear front runner in this producer search. I'm surprised at the pushback I got on that.
Can I tell you, I am stunned that you haven't brought up Mick's brief tenure with Blind Mike Project. We had to let go because he stunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even really worth bringing up. It's just the same as all the other shit. Like,
well, it's all about being there. And
yeah.
The first thing.
Well,
goes,
I'll tell you the reason I haven't felt the need to mention that is because, like, so for anyone that doesn't know, Mick, who's in the running for KMS producer, has what would you say, a year ago, 2 years ago?
Something like that. I don't remember.
I can't remember. But early on in the program, he reached out and said, basically, like, hey, you need the social media. You need someone doing, like, better clips for you and everything. I can be that guy. I said, absolutely. I'll have Craig send you the episode. You can cut it up, and, you know, we'll see how you do. And then Craig did it, and we never heard back from him. And then
it was 3 days later, and he said something was going on in his apartment building, obviously, which means his phone's broken.
Yeah. So I think I had Craig follow up a second time, and he was like, yeah, he was busy with work or something like that. And then I was like, all right, well, then we're fine. Because, like, even if I was going to rely on him for clips, I don't want to be like, hey gang, here's a clip from 3 weeks ago. Mick just got around to it, so, you know.
He's no Hackride.
He's no Hackride, yeah. So that was our experience with him. The reason I haven't felt the need to mention it is basically just because I also understand cutting clips for me is different than cutting clips for the Kirkman Ad Show.
Yeah,
That's almost the point I made on the show is like, yeah, he stopped doing his podcast and shit, but, like, these are not things that were getting a ton of traction. It is indicative of probably a larger problem, but I guess I just think if he was working for Kirk, he would probably put more effort in than if he was cutting clips for this show. Like, I'm aware of that also, you know.
Do you know if he stuck with that, he'd probably walk into this job at this point. If he had, like...
I don't think that would mean anything to Kirk. Like, oh, you've done clips for Mike?
I mean, there'd be less doubt in everything he could do, and he wants someone who's going to be there all the time. You can't hear
I guess, yeah, that's true of anything. If he did his podcast consistently, then he wouldn't have those questions around him, I guess. Yeah, but
the show you want to do it. The creep off again, $5. Craig
it's just all people that know me. Hey, thanks, guys.
Craig is complaining about fat jokes at his expense. Use this to buy a box of that was Carlos. That was not me. Wes Little Reptile Family.
They're new here.
I realized just reading that I'm gonna probably read something I shouldn't at one point. I didn't even think like
there's a great one. Two great ones. Stuttering John recently read. He's been reading the name Ray Pingu for weeks. And he glossed over it that I thought he was just like, oh, this guy's super chatting me, so I got to read his name, you know. Finally, last week he laughed at it and he goes, I just got that. Raping you. That's one, like, how do you not get it? And my other favorite was this one I might have said, but he's reading the super chats and he goes, Gabe Utsex, make sure you send the link to Cardiff and Tukey. Gabe, I sent the link to Cardiff and Tukey. He's arguing with a man named Gabe Utsex.
West Little Reptile Family, $10. Blind Mike is the only person I've sent super chats and Craig never reads them. You're the best, Mike.
Well,
Craig not so much.
Why's Craig silencing you?
Justin again.
This guy.
Let's get hashtag thank you Craig going in the chat.
Yes. Hashtag thank you, Craig, for all you do.
Casey Armstrong. Great show, guys. You're right about everything. P.S. Carlos made me a gay.
I suspect that's not the real Casey Armstrong.
It might be. Very much
Who knows?
all caught up there.
All right. You want to get to Dave Portnoy's pizza review?
Yeah, the best pizza review ever.
So I saw Kirk retweeting this, and then they mentioned it on the show on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I watched it for a minute, and I was like, I don't know. I'm not getting it. I didn't understand what the big deal was. I didn't wait till 5 minutes in when the guy comes back. I thought it was kind of like a whatever. So Dave Portnoy is outside of Dragon Pizza here in Somerville, Massachusetts. And most of you guys have probably seen this by now, but I thought it was worth covering, where Portnoy is accosted by a business owner. Now, don't forget, during the pandemic, and he'll make sure to remind this guy, Dave Portnoy did a lot for small business.
He sure did.
And he's done a lot for pizza places. Doesn't he have like the One Bite Pizza Festival or something?
I think that's this week, right?
There you go. This was good promotion for that.
Yeah.
But not all pizza boys respect the One Bite man himself.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Dave.
Yes.
Enjoy your pizza as any customer, but I don't appreciate what you do coming in and judging a business with one bite.
Well,
hold on. Now that seems like a joke.
It does.
Because the whole bit is one bite, everyone knows the rules, and then get this, gang. He takes a little more than one bite. that's sort of the fun, the jocularity that Dave Portnoy has. So I thought this was like a bit, if Portnoy hosted SNL, that would be a line in a sketch where a guy comes out and just doesn't get the bit that he's doing. So I thought this was a joke at first, but
I did at first too, especially because what he's wearing. It's all funny. Have you ever?
This is what I'm saying. Is like at first I thought it was the first time he comes out, I was like, maybe he's fucking around and we just don't get it. So let's finish that up.
Have you ever eaten at this place?
No, never heard of it.
I have once or twice. I didn't love it or hate it.
So can I say also, Dave in the beginning of this review is very. He's saying like, you know what? This could be our fault. We might have chosen the wrong piece. And he has said, I think he said this when he was on live with Kirk a couple weeks ago, where he goes, it's tough. I feel guilty giving businesses a bad review. Like he seemed like he wouldn't give he's not going to give anyone a 4 out of 10 anymore because he feels bad doing that to businesses. So that's where things get really interesting with this guy.
This is my spot. I hope you enjoy your pizza, but I don't appreciate what you do to small businesses.
Well, I help. The good news is I
don't see it that way.
Terrible school. That guy. Well, Dom of the Year, can I ask you? Yeah. What was his problem?
So this is this guy Dom of the Year that's just chatting Portnoy's ear off, and he makes a comeback at the end of this, which is tremendous. But Portnoy is getting recognized on the streets. By the way, is Portnoy getting accosted all over town? Because I also saw a TikTok. I don't know when this was from. I hadn't heard anyone discuss this. I saw a TikTok of another incident where Portnoy was out on the street, and some woman comes up to him and says, like, "Hey, you're a rape apologist," and starts like dressing him down. Is he getting accosted everywhere he goes now?
I feel like he's either loved or hated all the time and loudly wherever he is.
So here's an interesting thing. We were out with a few friends the other night, and we were talking about this, and this is what happens when people like listen to, they know half a story. Because this one girl was like, oh yeah, but doesn't he like kind of do shitty things to small businesses? And now I have to defend this fucking guy. No, actually, the Barstool Fund did a lot for them, and he feels guilty giving people a bad score. Now I'm out, like, just in my regular life. Like, no, he's a good man.
Yeah, as he at some point in this review explains how he doesn't give bad scores anymore because he doesn't want to tank anywhere, except for I think LeBron James's pizza place.
Yeah, and I think Dragon Pizza doesn't mind tanking at this point either. So the guy walks away. And that seemed to be it. That's what I was like, oh, this got way overhyped. That wasn't that big a deal.
No,
shame on me. I should have kept watching.
It gets fantastic.
Yeah, this is tremendous. When the guy comes back outside and says, no. I've been in many of these arguments where I'm like, you're not understanding my point. I'm gonna have to come back out and make my point again.
Maybe a little clearer. Move on. Don't stand in front of my business.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
I mean, that was a very quick. Portnoy is not giving 1 ounce of thought into maybe I should take it easy on this guy.
He's definitely back to not giving a shit.
I think it's clear who owns the company now.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me give you one thought. Fuck you.
Maybe a little clearer. Move on. Don't stand in front of my business.
Let me be clear. Fuck
Let
you.
me be clear.
Fuck
Get
you.
the fuck out of
Fuck
front of my
you.
business.
Fuck you.
Dom
It's
of
a
the year,
public
your whole
street.
fucking mother-
Okay, so Dom of the Year just putting his face on camera and saying Dom of the Year is terrific.
Oh, he's great. We'll get to him too in a second. But what I think is great is also like someone's walking down the street. They just, they're going to college in Boston. It's their freshman year. They're from the Midwest, let's say. Moving to a new place, and they're like, Boston's probably not so bad. The big city, and they're taking a stroll, maybe out to get a slice themselves, and they see this on display in the middle of Davis Square in Somerville.
Be clear. Get
you.
the fuck out of
Fuck
front of my
you.
business.
Fuck you.
Dom of
It's
the
a
year,
public
your whole
street,
fucking
motherfucker.
They're like, is that millionaire Dave Portnoy on the street
I can't believe I'm actually seeing this in the wild.
arguing with a pizza man? That seems like a weird dream. Like, I had a dream that Portnoy was screaming "fuck you" at a pizza guy while a Barstool fan is promoting himself into the camera.
Your business.
Yeah, but this is my business. And you can
Fuck
stay
you.
here, I'm calling the
Fuck
fucking
you.
police.
He's right across the street. Go get him. What are you going to tattle me on for standing on a public street?
Just being a fucking
Your
bitch.
shirt's 6 sizes too small, Fatso.
Just go fuck yourself and the whole fucking platform you're on.
Oh, you don't like the platform.
You're a joke to me, dude.
You know what? You're
Take
making
your
a
fucking
joke.
show and your fucking game and go somewhere else.
Blah, blah, blah. By the way, I raised $50 million for small business.
You're all talk, dude.
$50
You're all
million?
talk.
Was that all talk?
Yeah, kind of like that New York Times article.
Here we go.
It always comes back to that,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
It sure does.
This is again where I'm saying I'm now in my own personal interactions where people bring that up, and I'm like, well, it was misreported. It was horrible journalism.
Did you see the 1.5 hours long PowerPoint presentation Dave made on it?
Which seemed totally sane.
Yeah. Although I probably would have done the same fucking thing, to be
Oh,
honest.
absolutely, yeah. It just felt like Lenny Bruce reading the transcript.
Right.
Oh, your shirt's 6 sizes too small.
I don't care. I
Lose
work
some
hard.
weight.
You're a fucking joke.
You work hard?
Yeah, maybe. You're
My man.
you're so
Arguing like a toddler.
Shit, dude.
How? Tell me how.
You're a fucking clown.
How?
Hold on. Now I'll take the other guy's side. How am I a clown? Well, let's rewind 3 seconds to me, a clown.
Like I amuse you?
I work hard.
I sold my business twice. 100 million, 400 million bought back for $1. That's a clown?
Everything since I got in this business that you represent is an.
It would have been great. I'm taking both sides of the argument here. It would have been great if this guy was like, they lose $1 million a month. Do your research if you're going to be a tough guy like this, buddy. Come on. Come out with figures like that.
Like raising 50 million for small business?
Everything.
Name it.
Everything.
You haven't
Don't
named
play
one
your
thing.
game.
You haven't named one thing.
I make pizza. It's great.
It sucks,
You're
actually.
a fucking joke.
Name one thing.
There he is. There's the guy.
I've given up too much of my
All
time.
you've said is everything. Name one thing.
You're a fucking
Name
joke.
one
to me.
thing. Clown.
I love $1 million worth of game.
The best.
No, that's my favorite part of the entire video. Rewind that for a second. Portnoy is having this epic, the greatest pizza review ever. He's having a battle with this guy where the guy is essentially calling him a thief and a rapist. And Dom of the Year he's not listening to any of that. He's waiting for silence so that he can compliment Gillian Wallow or whatever the fuck those guys' names are.
Well, I like how he jumps it. He knows this is going to go viral, and he just keeps jumping in, saying his name, and getting as much camera time as possible.
Let's see this again. Where the timing on this guy is impeccable.
I've given up too much of my time.
All you've said is everything. Name one thing.
You're a fucking
Name
joke.
one
to me.
thing. Clown.
I love $1 million worth of game.
The best. I like how Dom of the Year just slides right back in like Big Mondo.
Like nothing ever happened.
Where were we?
Now, Dave, what you're probably thinking right now is, what's Dom of the Year's take on other Barstool podcasts?
He's probably like,
I'm a Pardon My Take fan, but let's get into the deeper stuff.
Dave probably knows this is going viral too, and this guy's just promoting more Barstool stuff. So he's I'm surprised he's not hired yet.
Yeah. So what was there? Was there talk of that? Is this a content guy? Do we know who Dom of the Year is? I didn't know looking into it, but
he used to work at that pizza shop, and he was saying it during the review. He's like, I used to work here, and I don't think anyone believed him. And then he actually had receipts and posted a video of him making pizzas in the kitchen there.
I'll tell you what was stunning that I thought got glossed over is was it? I think it was Dom of the Year that said. So John Rich asked him to come on Kirk's show.
Yep.
And I guess Dom of the Year said no, but like I'll come back on in a month to promote my album. That's good. I'll come back on when the heat dies down.
Yeah, when it's not popular and no one gives a shit anymore, I'll be there.
Yeah, it's like if the Bagel Boss guy was like, I'll get back to you at Christmas time. How's that?
Sounds good.
That was incredible. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't see. Like I said, I gave it a shot and was like, that seemed overblown. And then I think it was on somewhere on Reddit where I saw the rest of the clip. I was like, well, I got to check the second half of that now.
Casey Armstrong, $2 for real. It's me. You're doing a great job. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Casey, a radio legend. Yeah, so Casey goes on with Stuttering John comes on Casey's show and just like needles him for money. Like Casey's getting these super chats, and the whole time John's like, those should really be for me. People are here to watch me. It's like, boy, you're really doing a friend a favor here. That's nice.
He's such a greedy asshole.
And then, if I knew Casey Armstrong was going to be watching, I would have pulled these clips maybe. But I was watching their show from the other night where John claims that like they're good, but he loves Casey. He really cares about him. And Casey is 47 years old. And John says, is your dad still around? Casey's like, no, he died when I was 21. And John goes, wow, I'm really sorry to hear that. Casey's like, yeah, I've moved on from it. I'm okay. And then you can tell Casey doesn't want to talk about it. It's a sensitive issue because John's asking like, do you miss your father? Did you have any regrets? Anything you wanted to say to him? And Casey's like, yeah, that's not really the show I'm trying to do. I don't want to cry on air right now. So let's move on. And John's like, nah, Case. We got to hash this out. It's like, John, you're not a fucking therapist. You're not the person, Case, you should be exploring this with.
If you're a true friend, you can call me when we're done here.
Right. Yeah. That's what Casey kept saying. This is a phone conversation, John.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, tremendous pizza review. Oh, we got to get to Schaub now. That's the other thing I teased that we definitely have to get to. So, Thick Boy merch. I mentioned I was on with Carl and Vinny on the Creep Off the other day. Those boys do a tremendous job. By the way, they exposed something I had never seen. Have you seen these before? You might be more in touch with this side of things than me back in 2020. I don't know Theo Vaughn at all. I've only recently started checking out some of his stuff, and I actually think he's very funny. I resisted him for a while, but he's a pretty funny guy. In like 2019-ish, like before D'Elia got accused of all this stuff, Theo Vaughn was on multiple podcasts, and Chris D'Elia's name would get brought up, and like it would be like, oh, Chris D'Elia like gets all these women and everything, and Theo Vaughn's like, yeah, but they're all 17. And everyone's like, whoa, we'll move on. And he's like, I'm kidding. But Theo Vaughn was like this truth sayer before anyone else. I had never seen that before. It was pretty interesting.
I've seen the clips go like once in a while. You'll see like
I assumed they circulated, yeah, but I don't think I'd seen them before.
I think I might have saw him like a year ago, something like that.
But we talked about my boy Brendan Schaub on there as well, and something that came to my attention recently. I remember this getting thrown around at the time of the Bud Light controversy, and I didn't think there was any substance to it. It seems I have to step in yet again and defend my boy Brendan Schaub, who's an innovator. He starts trends constantly, and he had a Bud Light joke that went viral, and it was very original and not at all hack, and not something like a 9-year-old would say to his buddies in 4th grade. So can we hear this Bud Light joke that he had that was circulating on Reddit a few months ago?
About you're homeless. We're the American Idol for homeless. We have the best of the best. You're homeless. You know what your homeless is, though? Your homeless is fucking aggressive. Your homeless is super aggressive. Me and my brother were getting around town on scooters. We go by one homeless guy goes, nice jeans.
Whoa. Hey, hold on, pause. This was recorded in like March. It was a different time.
Yeah.
You could throw around F slurs back then. Remember, those were the good old days.
Definitely 97.
So I don't want anyone taking that out on Brendan. It was a different time.
I will say it's the only word not typed out on on this video.
Well, your mind can wander. Who knows what it was?
I was like, sir, you don't have shoes.
Got his ass.
To be fair, though, I was drinking a Bud Light.
That's what they do, right, Brendan?
The Bud Light to do it, man. It wasn't the jeans, it was the Bud Light. How about Bud Light? God, they messed up. Boy, they just didn't read the room, did they? They don't know their audience. They had a market that was like, yeah, we're just trying to get rid of that bro culture. It's not what we want to represent. It's like, you do not know who drinks Bud Light. I don't see the problem with Bud Light, dude. I love Bud Light. Like, dude, people are so homophobic. Like, oh, you're gonna drink Bud Light, turn gay? Get it out of here.
Nice.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we all did. Yeah, I remember Carlin doing a similar bit in the 80s. It's very highbrow stuff. Now, unfortunately, Brendan started getting accusations of joke stealing. So people on TikTok and Reddit and all over the place were claiming that Brendan stole this joke. Now, I paid this no mind, but Brendan addressed it recently, so we have to acknowledge it. So this is someone on TikTok that made this joke and is claiming Brendan stole it.
So everybody's been fucking saying, dude, that Bud Light sponsored a tranny or some shit, dude. And apparently it makes you gay. I'm like, the fuck, man? Been drinking Bud Light for fucking years, man. And I don't see how it makes you gay.
Now, I have to say, this is clearly parallel thinking. I mean, this is two high-minded, cultured people that I think came to the same conclusion. There's no way that Brendan stole this joke. I think he got there on his own. Believe me, if there's any joke that Brendan has told that I think he got there on his own, it's probably this one. That I will absolutely, I'll pass a lie detector test if you ask me that. I think Brendan was able to think of deep throating a Bud Light. In fact, I think it's probably a joke he makes every time he drinks any sort of bottlenecked beverage.
That is possible.
So therefore, that's why I think it's ridiculous that Brendan was forced to finally address it.
I don't enjoy the chat saying I look just like that guy.
It's probably you. That seems like, again, like your type of humor.
That's a me joke, right, guys?
Yeah. So that was, by the way, from the YouTube channel TFATK. I guess he's the representation of the subreddit on YouTube. And then another intrepid reporter, a man we know as Scion Z, who you may now know as Unique. He was doing some reporting of his own. So on a recent episode of The Golden Hour, Brendan addressed this controversy. And I think this holds a lot of water. I yet again support my boy.
Holds a lot of beer.
Well, it's even like with I did this Bud Light thing when it was like first popping on to Bud Light. I mean, you guys are crazy, man. Bud Light doesn't make you gay. And I deep throat on stage. So I was like, oh, this guy, he's like he's like an Instagram comic. Like, he did this first. I'm like, all right.
Like, you're sitting there watching all this shit.
Good, dude. It's a fun.
Let him have it. Who gives a fuck?
I was like, it's a throwaway. Deep throating a Bud Light.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
That is the correct argument, yes.
Tell him, Brendan. Go get him. Get these motherfuckers. You have hours of material, bro. You don't need that shit. Throw it away. Yeah, the amount of other gay jokes you have of that same level. It's endless, frankly. So I'm glad. I think Brendan is yet again maturing.
I think so.
So at the end of the month, we got Skankfest, baby. We're gonna find out how Brendan handles all this.
I think he's gonna do himself a lot of favors. I'm not saying it's gonna be funny, but
I hope so. I hope he does. But here's the thing: I don't need Brendan to be hilarious. What I need Brendan to be, and I was thinking about this recently, because I was thinking about this for Stuttering John also, because Stuttering John was a great character on the Howard Stern show because he has a guy like Howard kind of manipulating that. That's why so many people, myself included, are good on Kirk's show, because Kirk knows how to bring certain aspects of people's personality out. I think that's where Brendan would be great, if Brendan had someone like that was able to manipulate personalities. Like, I think, honestly, Brendan and Louis J. Gomez or Tim Dillon doing a show together could be masterful. And I know Louis would be willing to do it.
he definitely would.
So if Brendan could have someone like that could kind of orchestrate Brendan's hilarity, find the parts of Brendan's personality that are genuinely funny. It might not be the parts that Brendan thinks are funny, but if he could find someone like that, and I think Skankfest is going to be the avenue where he does this. Now, what I have to figure out, do I wear my Thick Boy merch to this? This is tough. No one will understand it.
They're gonna think you're like not one of them. You're an
right.
outsider.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get beat up in the parking lot. You know.
But then again, you've been to enough of these that you assume that you'll be like, oh, familiar face.
Right. I could call for help.
Right.
Yeah. You know me. Remember?
Dang Lizard, €5, I think. Brendan also said Bud Light is like Blind Mike. It can't read a room.
Whoa. I should ask Carlos about that.
What about the repeated room reading jokes?
Yeah, Brendan's not that clever. I don't know if he would come up with something that deep. Well, speaking of the fighter and the kid, I guess we could play this Callen cut, because I don't know if Brian Callen is resorting to actually, this seemed genuine. So Brian Callen got all pissed off. He's on a conspiracy show with Sam Tripoli, and they're arguing about conspiracies. And get this, guys. Sam Tripoli, host of Tinfoil Hat and the Conspiracy Social Club with Brian Callen, who, loves like Alex Jones and believes in QAnon and all this shit, I think.
Yeah, who doesn't?
He said something a little wacky. And this is how Brian Callen took it. I can't tell. I'm undecided if I'm like, good for Callen for not putting up with this shit. But it's also like, know what podcast you're on. What the fuck are you doing?
Okay, here's my problem, guys. And you have to be, this is a real problem. So now you guys are all you conspiracy guys are putting this fucking dude on blast, and you don't know for real. So what you're doing right now, hold on, is you're taking, all you guys are taking this chief of the emergency response, and you're trying to ruin his fucking life. What are you with all your rumors?
God,
and it's
Brian.
irresponsible.
Brian,
it's irresponsible.
Brian, did you say what is the worst take I could take on this video?
So what are you doing?
Is that what you
So
did?
what are you doing?
Did
You're
you go
doing
in your little
you're doing the
bit
same
of
thing
your
with this guy Ray
Dewey
Epps.
Decimal
You guys did the
system
same shit with
file
Ray
in
Epps.
the old library.
You did the same shit with Ray Epps. You're doing the same shit
Right,
with this.
because Ray Epps is a Fed. That's
he got
why.
arrested.
Ray
He
Epps
just
is a
got
Fed.
arrested. He just got arrested, Sam.
He's a Fed,
He
Brian.
got arrested.
Yeah, because he's a Fed.
No, he's not a Fed.
He's a Fed.
No, he's not.
He
got
is
arrested.
a Fed. Brian, do you understand what that is?
This is so irresponsible. I'm not going to do this because I think it's
Hold on.
And
This is interesting. He's saying this is so irresponsible. Like, Sam Tripoli believes that the elite drink baby's blood and all this shit. Like, I have no issue with Sam Tripoli. It's just like he's a radical conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And Brian's like, hey, I can't stand for this. He does a podcast with the guy every week. And watch how he reacts to this.
He also does a podcast with a sexual criminal. Has no issues.
No. What are you talking about?
That's true. That's true. Good point.
Putting this guy on blast, and he's getting his life fucking harassed by a bunch of idiots who don't know anything.
Oh,
okay,
Brian,
and it's irresponsible. So let me get this straight.
What is the
fucking chief. So wait, the chief of
you
response.
could
He started the
fucking-
fires.
Let him go,
So
let
the
him
chief of response started the fires, and he's a murderer, and that's why. And he killed the secretary. Fucking bullshit, Sam. Not cool when you do that to someone.
Brian, do you know
don't
that he
anything.
told people they couldn't leave?
Shut the. I'm not doing that.
Brian, no.
I'm gonna walk.
I can tell you what Brian Callen's really saying here is like, oh, so you're saying he was dating the girl, and it was 20 years ago, and she doesn't have her story straight, and you're just gonna say he raped her? And it's like, Brian, I think we're not talking about the murder anymore, are we? We're just talking about journalism in general, huh?
I'm gonna
walk off, Brian. Because we're in
all
the
you
fucking
guys start
battle
now. So you're
for
gonna dox
good and
him.
evil.
So now this guy's gonna walk around and
Brian,
he's
we're in
gonna
a
ruin his
battle
fucking
of
life.
good versus evil right now.
Sam,
Brian,
you don't know this guy. You don't know the fucking details. This is where your bullshit. This is where your bullshit and all your fucking people go after one guy and ruin his
All
life.
your fucking
so
people.
you're going after this guy. He already fucked up.
Wouldn't that be our people?
I don't see. I think the point of this podcast is that like Brian Callen is supposed to bring sanity to the Sam Tripoli world. You know, it's almost like like Sam Tripoli is supposed to be presenting the argument, and Brian Callen's the judge and jury.
Gotcha.
I think that's the point of this, if I'm not mistaken. But this again seems very emotional to be on a podcast like this with this guy. It would be like if you were doing a show with Jerry. And we're like, boy, this is awfully extreme to one side, Jer.
I have done that. I have done that. Yeah. The Ray Epps thing, though, it's like that's the one you're.
I don't know enough about it to know who's right.
At very least, Ray Epps is on camera telling people to storm the Capitol. At least.
Well, again, I think this is Brian Callen saying like, so you can just accuse someone of rape now, huh? That's not what we're talking about, Brian.
You're just gonna get divorced because your wife's embarrassed to be with you in public, huh?
Oh, I guess it's gonna ruin your life for a while, and you have to do this podcast because you get thrown off the fighter and the kid. Is that what you're saying about Ray Epps?
You're part of a really popular series, The Hangover. You're not gonna get work ever again, huh? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, sure. The Goldbergs is never gonna have Ray Epps back on. Oh, I guess that's what you're saying, eh, Sam?
Brian,
he might have been just shitty at his job. How about that?
Brian,
but now you guys are tying in the fucking Vegas shooting with this guy, and he's responsible for the Vegas shooting and this. And let's go out.
Well, now it's personal, Mike. Do you have a change of heart?
Hey, wait a second. I enjoyed when the Donald Trump caller said that at least Stephen Paddock finished the job when he was starting him. That's a great one.
It's fucking retarded shit. You should not do this.
Brian,
this is where I draw the line.
And if Brian says to you,
I'm not going to do it. If you guys are going to, I'm going to leave.
No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
If you're going to talk about this, if we're going to bring this guy up, I'm going to leave.
We're not doing it.
No, it's serious. It is serious.
I do care.
It is serious because you ruin people's lives. No, all you fucking assholes.
Okay, all right.
If you don't put this out,
I'm not putting it out.
I will lose my
because you want to gang up on somebody. You don't even know what about this guy. You want to ruin his life. You want to ruin this guy's life. Do you know much about this guy? You don't know shit about this guy.
Can we take a
break? No, you fucking guys want to fucking.
No, you want this guy to make a Patreon that he's gonna get thousands of people to subscribe to, and then not put any work into. That's what you want to do.
He is really mad. There's something else going on with him.
You want this guy? You want Ray Epps to give a tearful apology and separate himself from Chris D'Elia. That's what you're saying. That he should pretend he never went on the road with Chris D'Elia and that they were never even really friends. That's what you wanted of Ray Epps?
Ray Epps is friends with the most popular broadcaster in America, and he just forgets about him. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Oh, I guess Ray Epps won't be invited to the mothership.
This guy, you don't know shit about this guy.
Brian,
do you know about this guy? So you think this guy should be in jail? He's a fucking murderer?
No, Brian,
that's what you're saying.
Ask questions.
Bullshit.
What happened?
You're saying he's a murderer, Sam.
He's
got kids. It's
saying,
fucked up.
Brian, I'm saying,
no, you guys
Brian,
ruin people's lives with this bullshit.
People lost their kids.
Oh, fuck.
He's got kids that think that he cheated on their mother. And he's in the midst of a custody battle right now.
He's responsible.
Brian, no, but
he's
we're asking questions.
No, you're not asking questions. No, you're not.
Why?
No, you're
not.
not.
You're not asking questions. You're saying Ray Epps has to move to Dallas so he can work with Steven Crowder and get the red light turned on him. That's what you're saying his career's been reduced to.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, so Ray Epps has to pretend Steven Crowder's funny now. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, you tell me Ray Epps really loves Rumble, aren't you?
Oh, you're saying the audience is going to look at Ray Epps as a poor man's Dave Landau. Oh, great. Yeah, fine. The audience is going to yearn for the days of Dave Landau instead of Ray Epps.
They couldn't leave.
Who the fuck knows, Sam?
Why
He
did the
fucked up.
cops?
Let me tell you something, Sam. Nick DiPaolo wouldn't put up with you treating Ray Epps like this. It makes you wonder why Ray Epps is tolerating it.
It's a
People
tsunami
leave.
Shut the
thing.
fuck up.
No,
It's
this
allowed,
guy
right?
is having a.
Is that Schaub?
Oh, is he just in the background? I don't know.
Oh, I'm rewinding a little. That sounded like Schaub.
Having a.
Didn't go back far enough.
Hey,
he
did the
fucked up.
cops not
Because
let
it's a
people
tsunami
leave?
Shut the
thing.
fuck up.
No, this
It
guy
is?
It does
is.
sound like Schaub, right?
That sounds like Schaub.
Just deep throating a Bud Light. Hey, guys, look at me. Distracting mom and dad from fighting.
Using it as a seat, being like, huh, does this work?
What are the gay jokes can I make?
Is this original? I'll open it with my butt cheeks.
Having a.
How long did it take the guy to come, Brian?
Brian
Definitely
is
Schaub.
Brian
No, because
is
I go.
yeah, 100%.
I'm not doing this.
Okay, bye. Have a great day. No, Brian.
Because you're
Ray Epps would never tell jokes.
Good for Sam though, because there's an element that's taken over podcasting that's gotten lost from like the radio days. Like radio was much more. They loved the fighting. Podcast isn't like that. And to be fair, I'm not like that. Like I don't love tension and confrontation like that. So maybe in the same situation, I wouldn't behave this way. But I respect that Sam's just like, all right, see you later. Because I think Sam knows this fucking maniac walking out of a conspiracy podcast is better. I would never be watching this episode if it wasn't for this incident.
Manny Musket says $2. Wear the thick boy merch.
Do I do it? So here's the thing. The hat, maybe I could get away with. Do I wear the baseball jersey?
The hat you can get away with because like people who know will know.
Yeah.
The jersey is like, please, someone.
That's
strike.
saying, hey, look at me, guys. The thick boy is here. I'm also, you have to remember, I've got a cane. So I'm already catching the eye to some extent.
Yeah, it's
You
kind of
know?
like, and then the thick boy is going to be the focal point of your getup. So they're going to see the cane and their eyes going to immediately draw to the base.
Walking in, like, I feel like walking into Skankfest with a thick boy merch and a blind man's cane is like anywhere else, like with a top hat tuxedo and a scepter.
You're going to feel extra pressure to have to put him over when he's doing his set.
Good one, right, gang?
Do the one about Boston.
Boston Dynamics.
You got
Pretend you took a tour of Boston Dynamics.
the government can't see that shit, but you sure can. Brian Kowalczyk. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, buddy. $10. I may need to turn this off. My name over and over. Nick West. $2. Mike's gay. LOL.
Whoa, Nick. That has not been confirmed. I don't have children.
Nope.
And there is
Doesn't
wood
have-
on this wall behind it.
I think there is a little bit of wood. Yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe.
I guess. It all heads up. A real bone smoker, as Craig would call me. Trying to think. What else do we have left that we need to tackle here? We should do the holy trinity of retards from LA. If we're talking about Callan and Schaub, Brendan, I didn't mean it about you. Should we play the Chris D'Elia video as well?
The laugh, the hardest laugh.
Hardest laugh Brendan's ever had. Now, keep in mind, gang, I guess we should play this with the context of what if Louis C.K. did this? You know, because I got a lot of pushback on my Louis C.K. take. People don't agree with me, whatever. But at least he's, for the most part, gone away in this respect. He's not doing things like this. Now, just imagine a sexual predator puts out a viral clip where he's talking about a habit that he has. Now, on the Creep Off, me, Carl, and Vinny talked about a habit that he had where one of the allegations against Chris is that he took his penis out in the car with a woman, and that woman was crying and had to leave the vehicle.
I told him, I said, don't do a kiddie porn.
I think that's what she said to him as she was tearfully leaving the vehicle.
Yeah.
I said that's the one drop we have. And so, Chris D'Elia has been known to take his penis out. It seems like a habit. It was in a few of the allegations. Well, it seems like he's learned his lesson because he's not doing that with young women anymore, at least. And the thing about sexual predators is that if they're doing things sometimes, it's definitely not indicative of more what's the word I'm looking for? Frequent behavior. It's certainly not. Yeah, it's definitely not indicative of a habit. That's what I was looking for.
I never seen someone laugh so hard than when I was on the road with Joe Coy. I took my dick out and I was playing it with the guitar with this song. And it was me and him alone in a hotel room. And I was playing my dick as the guitar with this song.
What? That's so cool, Chris.
This is definitely a story he should not tell.
This is definitely a really funny story of hanging out with your boys. Is there anything worse than like the frat guy that felt the need to take his dick out all the time?
No.
If there's a gag, I'm trying to think of like, I can't even think of a context where it would be great. But the idea of like, hey, my penis is out. It's like, oh, hysterical. I think that's something you shake off you like after college. Like in college and shit, I definitely get it. Chris is a father in his 40s.
I love that. In college, I completely understand.
Well, I mean, college is college, frat boy humor, whatever.
Yeah.
This is a father in his 40s who has been through public scrutiny for rape, legitimate rape, honest to goodness, good old fashioned rape, not 2023, mamby-pamby rape. This is, Chris has been accused of real hardcore dirty rape.
This wasn't a first date. You think she wants you to kiss her goodnight, and you were wrong.
It wasn't an Aziz Ansari fishhook.
Right.
It was legitimately, the accusation is that while the woman was crying, Chris was presenting her his penis, saying, do everything I say, and it'll all be fine.
It'll all be over.
That's a movie line rape. That's like if you were scripting a bad man that the average person doesn't think exists. Meanwhile, he goes on a podcast and tells this hilarious story.
Chilling. You're not ready. You're not even doing it yet. Just chilling. Right here.
Yeah. And so then, she's crying, and I just shove it in her mouth and say, like, hey, do as I say, and it'll all go smoothly.
Don't you like David Bowie?
Yeah. So Chris D'Elia said to Joe Coy, hey, listen, I know I've plied you with wine even though I don't drink. Now come back to my room.
And then so stupid. Dude,
how do you remember this? It's insane, dude.
How would you not remember that? It's quite simple.
I think what Brendan means is like, I think he's suggesting that Chris is playing the proper chords. Which I have no idea how he would know that.
How do you remember how to play this song for real?
That's what I think. I think Brendan is saying, boy, this is really good. You're doing a good job.
Guitar Hero's gotten extreme.
Maybe that's why Brendan laughed so hard. If he thought actual music was coming out of Chris's penis, I can imagine that being the hardest you've ever laughed in your life. I suppose I'll excuse that.
Probably, bro.
Now they're just giggling at him. That's enough. You get the gist.
I think you should get your dick out.
He's twirling his penis around.
Don't ask me to do something I can't.
Yeah. So isn't that crazy though? Like the idea that I would think if you were accused, not once, not twice, but I don't know, 36 times of sexual misconduct, maybe more than that. Because I think at a certain point, like hundreds of women were coming forward. Now, as I've said before, a lot of them were probably bullshit. But a lot of them also probably weren't. If you just crunch the numbers.
Well, it's like Cosby having 100 accusers. You gotta assume at least 20.
If 80 of them were lying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So with Chris D'Elia, if you're accused of that, don't you just say like, "Hey, gang, hey, fellas, I can't control myself. I still need to take my dick out when we're on the road. But maybe let's not broadcast it. What do you say?
maybe leave that out.
Maybe my penis is just it needs air, so it's coming out of that zipper anytime it can.
I like to imagine like a couple days later after Delia's getting shit for this, he just looks at everyone and he's like, "Aren't you guys my friends? Why wouldn't you tell me to stop?"
Well, this is a man that's went to sex addiction rehab.
Yeah, because that was his only problem, Mike.
In rehab, yeah, that was his only issue, was sex addiction. So wouldn't they tell you in rehab, like, hey, a trigger? I've heard the word trigger before. I'm not too familiar with like AA or NA or any of that stuff. But what I do believe is that they cite triggers. Now, I would think whipping your cock out in front of Asian American comedians might be a trigger if you're on the road, where you would typically find a lot of these victims.
I hope Joe Coy this week does a crying interview on like Good Morning America. And he's not.
I asked him to stop. He wouldn't stop.
It would be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Honestly, I think Joe Coy just should have done that for the bit.
Oh yeah,
like even just kidding around, it'd be hilarious. Because if Chris doesn't like that, it's like, well, hey, motherfucker, quit pulling your prick out in front of people. No one wants it, man, woman, or child, and you've tested that.
Also, there was a post on Reddit with Dalia that.
Oh yeah, this was great. This was just a little background. So this is from his old tour poster. You want to put that up real quick?
Yeah, it was initially deleted, so I got to put up the headline, then I can put that up after.
Okay.
But it's on our Chris D'Elia. It was pledged by Chris. Did Chris post it? Was that the idea behind it?
Well, it was Chris's poster.
Yeah, it says, quote, here come the clips. I'm not a pedophile. I'm not trying to be a cult leader. Anyways, here's the poster for my tour. And
yeah. So let's see it.
I have a kind of a crappy thing of it because it was deleted. So I had the preview snapshotted, but it's
using his child, by the way.
Yeah, him
which
holding
is even creepier. So let's put a child on the poster and make it follow the leader. This is, again, I was talking about this a lot with the creep off guys, where it's like you talk about breadcrumbs. Like with Cosby, people pull out old clips of him talking about like Spanish Fly.
Yep.
That's nothing compared to what Chris is. Everything he did was called a cult. He talked about how much he wants to run a cult. Everything was cult with this guy, to the point where it was follow the leader was his tour. I'm the leader.
Life friggin' rips.
Life certainly does rip, Chris. Is that still true, do you think? Is life ripping these days?
Life rips your family apart.
Yeah. Sadly, the guitar act these days is a solo act, unfortunately. The band has left him.
Dang Lizard, €5. I think his point, this is back to the Callan thing. I think his point was talking conspiracy theories is different from a personal witch hunt.
Oh, no, I honestly, I kind of get what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
My point with Callan is more like, that's the show you're on.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what you're getting into.
Like, it'd be crazy to go on with Alex Jones and be like, Alex, this is all a little irresponsible. You know?
Right.
Although maybe, you know what? Maybe that's what Alex Jones needed. Like when Alex Jones was talking about Sandy Hook or something, maybe that's what he needed, is a guy like that to be like, why don't you cool off a little bit, Al?
B Skells, $5. Ripping Tweez, about to be the first person at Hooters the second they open and get ossified drunk.
Attaboy. Ripping Tweez, is that Twisted Teas?
Oh, maybe.
Well, good for you, buddy. Enjoy your Labor Day. We work on Labor Day.
That's right.
Yes.
We got magnesium linoleum, $10. Craig plays yakety sax on Mike's wiener.
If you're doing it with a friend, I think that's a little different.
Yeah, it's both sides is willing.
Yes. What is yakety sax?
The Benny Hill music.
Okay, that's fun.
I believe. Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Anything else? Is Hackride available?
He's not backstage yet, but if he's watching, come on back, buddy. But we do still have the Alex Jones Bill Gates challenge, which we definitely.
Oh, good. We just talked about Alex Jones. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah. I am making sure to timestamp these because I forgot at the beginning.
Oh boy. Hackride's not going to be happy.
I know.
Yeah. So I just came across this on Reddit. I think this is a fun game we could all play that Alex Jones is suggesting. It's kind of like the what does he say? It's like the ice bucket challenge or something.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this could really take off.
I'm surprised it hasn't already, but we're here to promote it a little bit. So this is Alex Jones's new game for Bill Gates.
I'm going to issue the Bill Gates challenge. You've heard of the ice bucket challenge, all the rest of it. If the earth is overpopulated, and Bill Gates is right, he's got some points. If Bill Gates gets a 44 Magnum on air, shoves it in his mouth, and blows his brains out the back of his head, the next day, after it's confirmed he's dead, I will blow my brains out on air. So you can do another ice bucket challenge, Bill, at your house, where you dump gasoline on yourself out of a bucket because you want to go out with a bang, right? And maybe you strap TNT all on yourself if you back Islam, and then you dump gasoline on yourself, Bill, and then you light yourself on fire. How about that?
Has Bill Gates responded to this challenge?
Yeah, he's dead.
That'd be great if you just saw a video of Bill Gates and he's like, hey guys, I challenge Alex Jones, Tom Hanks, and Jeff Bezos. Like, all right, I guess we have to challenge 3 people now.
Hackride is here.
All right, let's bring him in. I'm sure he's gonna berate me for my my erroneous accusations earlier. Oh wait, do we have a drop for Hackride now?
He's doing it himself.
No. But we have a drop. I think you owe Hackride a thank you. He filled in for you last week. Did a great job.
He did.
Does anyone want to say thank you to our buddy Hackride?
Yes, Craig. Say
You're making
thank
the
you.
proper sound.
Oh, me? You want me to say thank you?
Yes,
No,
Craig.
there's
Say
a
thank
drop.
you.
Thank you, Hackride.
No, there's a
You are
drop.
welcome.
My penis is regular. Shut up. It's not that one. No. Hackride, do you have it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me either.
There's a
Hey,
drop
now.
for Stuttering John says, thank you, Hackride.
Oh,
He's got
yes, that is not in my soundboard yet.
All right, well, fuck you guys. I thought we'd be.
We
No,
need to do a
Hackride.
meeting for this.
Hackride, you said. I thought you did a terrific job last week, but you
Well,
said,
thank
what
you.
did you say I lied about with the intro? You didn't listen to me.
I received no message from you, Blind Mike, about anything for the intro.
I
Otherwise,
said,
I
can
would
we
have
do
done
an over-the-top intro for, I said Sunday at the time, but I meant
it.
Monday.
You may have said that, Mike, but you did not text it to me.
Yeah, I just said it out loud.
The last text I received at you was from 4:20 yesterday. Were you able to do an intro for tomorrow?
This is a week
I asked
ago.
her. This is yesterday.
What I'm saying to you is I asked for this intro a week ago.
Oh, I do not remember that. I smoke a lot of weed, Mike. You're going to have to be a little more current with your
I think
text that
Hackride
you're
just
talking about.
He
It is
pays
the
me
devil's
no
lettuce.
mind. Much in the same vein, Brendan Schaub is Batman. Where do we
Yes.
stand there?
Oh, it is a good question, Mike. I am glad you have asked. Have you ever created a cartoon, Mike?
No,
Right.
but you
Right.
have. That's my point.
I have many, and they are very popular with my friends and no one else apparently. But they take time to put together the materials, Mike. Do you understand? I can't just throw the slop together and get it on in 5 minutes. That's what I did today.
I guess my
This is
point is
some-
more, we've had many cartoons in the interim.
Yes, and I am building a catalog. What do you think? Batman costumes are easy to find, and head positions of Brendan Schaub pointed down and up are easy to find? These are all things I must find. I cannot create them out of thin air. I do not have the thick boy on a payroll. Do you understand?
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank
As
you.
well,
Yes.
as long as you remembered, because I worry sometimes that you just forget. You paid me no
I
mind.
never fuck. I love you.
I love Hackride hitting Mike with the "Do you understand?"
Yes. And also
That's
this
a fair
tight.
point. But my issue is he's created other cartoons in that time. That's my only issue.
Yes, for you. Do you understand?
Yes, but not the ones I've asked.
Well, there is a. Do you think the Simpsons creators go make this cartoon and then tomorrow it is there? It takes. Are you doing some cocaine, Craig? Oh, what are you? That was interesting. What are you doing there, Craig?
I'm quitting smoking, so I'm putting the Zin in my mouth.
Ah, how are you doing with that, Craig?
Hollywood Craig. He's on Ozempic. He's on fucking Chantix now.
Yes.
He's just doing all
Yes.
the-
Next is baby blood for Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. And you the plug for baby blood?
Yes. Speaking of which, title slander. I do not title the shows. I make the thumbnails. Is this some slander to my
Hackride,
title?
who had your back on that one?
I got receipts. Receipts.
You asked what the picture was going to be, Greg. I described the picture. It
literally-
was Mike holding a picture of a sign that said, "Where's Greg?" You took that as a title. I did not mean it as a title.
It's weird that you know exactly what I'm talking about without even having
Yes.
to look it up.
But again,
Yes,
it's
I
not
pay
Hackride.
attention.
I'll use the same analogy.
Mhm.
If I told Dave to make a title for the Kirk Minahan show and he did it, it's his fault, not mine. This
I
is
know
not
it's-
Hackride's fault.
Yes. Greg has also unfollowed me from Instagram.
Is that true?
Did
Yes,
I?
He has taken the team off of his Twitter.
Did I? How would you not know that?
I went through I thought I kept Hackride, but I went through a bunch, and anyone I didn't know, I just Instagram.
I'm sure we've been unfollowed as well. Disassociating is what it's called.
Yes, I went to find a picture for Gregers, and I was privated. It made me sad, Greg.
Private.
Hackride, one other thing you have to address.
Yes.
I thought you did a tremendous job last week. Would you say the feedback agreed? It seemed like people enjoyed you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't think I did a very good job producing, but it was my first time using StreamYard with another person. So, under those sorts of circumstances, I was amazing.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was really good.
Now, the one question I have, was this an artistic choice or just a complete boneheaded move when you left your host voice in?
Do you want the truth?
I think I can guess the truth.
What does Hackride say? I want what Hackride's answer.
I am a stoner, Blind Mike, and I had
See,
thought
this is
I
what
had
I think
cut that
plays
out.
into some of my requests.
But I am also a master PR man, so I take any opportunity and turn it in my favor. Yes, that was on purpose. I wanted you to see what I really sound like. I'm a man just like you, with a demon inside of me. That is all.
It made Hackride seem crazier hearing his real voice.
Yes, it did.
Because in my mind, it was always we're dealing with like some deranged, probably homeless drug addict. And then when I see, and then when I actually talked to him, I'm like, oh, he's a regular dude.
Yeah.
Well, don't go that far, Mike. I'm here with you and Greg. At 8:58 in the morning in California when I could be on the beach or sleeping with a young
Is that
woman.
PST or EST?
It's always with John PTSD.
Hackride's also doing, go subscribe to Hackride's channel on YouTube.
Yes.
At Hackride. He's doing a show. I got to say, I think you do a great job, Hackride.
Oh, thank you.
I think the co-host, maybe it's a bit or something. I don't get the, I don't want to be here sort of act she's putting on.
Well, it is actually not an act. She has 7 jobs, and she works at 4:30 in the morning, LA time, 6 days a week for the slave master over there, Stephanie Miller. So I try to be very gentle with her about that. But good news for you, Mike, if that is your concern. Please. We are going to an alternating cast of co-hosts, yes. So there will be a co-host other than Krista every other week, so Krista can get her sleep. Yes. And this one this week, Mike, it is a doozy. I cannot tell you because I do not want to say the name before the day, or they will back out like John's shows when he books them and people call and say they will beat women if he has his show. No. So I do have a very special guest this Thursday, 8 p.m. at Hackride. Thank you for mentioning it.
John really, by the way, oversold, I would say, his guest this weekend, where he's like, I'm not going to say the name, but it's a big A-lister. And it was like, I could probably get Dee Snider on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, he's had a great career and everything, but like, he's one word I think of with him is bookable.
Yes, for a cup of coffee, he will do an acoustic set of all the Twisted Sister songs in your living room.
Yeah.
I do think when he comes to mind, I think Willing. That's another one.
Yes. Absolutely.
Also, it was good to see Carlos on the show. I am a big fan of Carlos Danger. It is good that he is now a family member of ours.
I liked Carlos Danger. I've always liked him when I've heard him on podcasts. I like his voice. I think he's got a gentle touch.
Yeah.
Yes, and he sort of looks like a Harkonnen from the Dune series. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Rounded, more like a worm, into the spice. If you get my drift.
I couldn't see that. I don't know about all that.
Also, you kind of let him off the hook because he is an unapologetic KB supporter who trashes you all the time and says the same joke about you, and you let him off the hook.
You know what? When he mentioned Kevin Brennan, I thought about asking him about that. and we just never got to it. But Carlos doesn't trash me, does he?
No, Carlos is a good man, but he loves Kevin Brennan in a weird sense.
Yeah, maybe if we get him on again, maybe I'll ask him about that. But his answer is just going to be that Kevin hates everyone, I assume.
I was just going to say, you're going to ask him about that, and he's going to be like, I don't know. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's not going to shed any light that I don't already know. You know.
Right.
Yeah, there's this weird strain of Kevin Brennan fans that relate him to Stern, and I just do not see it.
No, not. I mean, it's not. I don't think Kevin's. I think he can be funny. I don't think he's like a talented broadcaster at all.
Not talented.
He's good at confrontation. He's very good at that, but he's not a good broadcaster.
He can read a chat like no one else.
That's true. I can't do that. You got to give him that.
That's true.
Yes.
All right.
Also,
so,
Chris, one more thing. I have notes, Mike. I've been listening. I have
the
notes.
floor is yours.
Yes,
Whatever you
yes.
want, buddy.
Yes. Chris D'Elia, yes? His accusers are like UFOs. Only one of them has to be true. All the million sightings don't matter. As long as he touched one underage girl, it is a pedo, yes.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you. That will be in the Comedy Hall of Fame.
I fucked one goat.
Don't do a kiddie porn.
So you have to wait, Craig, until the man is done talking, and then you play the sample. This is how this works. See how that works, Craig? You were not talking, and I played the sample.
That's very good. Now, a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people. Really, I'm thinking of one guy on Twitter. One guy every week hates Hackride. This is why do you have this guy on? And he's equated him to morning zoo host, is what he always says about Hackride. And this is a guy that I think likes the show. He just says he bails when Hackride. So Hackride, in order to dispel the notions of being some sort of morning zoo hack, has put a game together, very original, where he's asked us 2 truths and a lie today. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Next week we'll be playing Pin the Tail on the Donkey.
Oh, if I had a chicken sound, I would be playing it right now.
Okay, so Hackride has put together a game for us, and you wanted to present this today, yes?
Well, I just wanted to be here for it because I am in the game. So it would make sense if anyone has questions about my truths or lies.
Okay. All right, so should we take it away, Craig?
Yes. Now, Craig, real quick. This has a pause, right? And then another pause right after. So what we will do is listen to the 2 truths and lie, and then we will talk about which one we think is the lie and truth, and then we will pause again, and you will tell us, yes?
Well, the
Easy
good
to
news-
understand.
Yes.
You're here to direct us, Dave.
I was going to say,
Yes,
the good news is Hackride can yell at me while we're doing this.
Yes. Mike, pull that pop screen off your face. You're too pretty. Stop it. That's what I would say if I was directing you, but I am not. Look at that.
West Little Reptile Family, $10. Craig, since you finally read one, here's another. Everyone listen to Why Are You Laughing, especially the ones on old comedians. Mike is the best. Craig is okay now.
You're the man. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. But let's get to it here.
Welcome to Norm McDonald. 2 truths and 1 lie.
All right, now hold on. Before I say this, we're denigrating the memory of Norm McDonald.
We are not. We have brought him back, Blind Mike. He is very funny in this, I would say.
Well, I'm just saying he won't be as funny as the great Norm McDonald. This is.
You have not seen it yet. You do not know this.
I just want to preface it with that. All right, Norm, take it away.
Yes, it's a great thing to preface a bit with. This will not be funny. Keep watching. Thank you.
Take it
My work
away,
is in
Normie.
vain.
By the Stuttering John Melendez podcast, because if there is one thing John knows, it's star fucking. Well, hello everybody. You all look so alive. This is amazing.
Oh, man,
I'm your
bumming
host,
me out.
Norm McDonald, and I can't tell you the trauma it causes to be taken from the most beautiful moments your mind can imagine. Just orgasms lasting for eternities. 2 hosts maybe the dumbest show this one trick demon has ever done. Anyway, we are here, so let's make the best of it. Now is when I'm supposed to turn to my co-host and do some banter. Well, let's just
Boy,
be
I gotta
honest.
say, this is a good Norm.
It is good Norm.
That might be the best of all the voices.
No, I thought it was bad, Mike. I thought
the
it was
voice.
terrible.
I'm saying the voice specifically.
The writing equals the voice. I channeled him. He came through me, Mike. Do you understand?
All right, I'm sorry. Continue.
We threw Eric the Hacker in here last second. The way Disney makes a movie on a character and shelves it just to maintain the IP. No offense, Eric.
None taken, you fucking dweeb. I never thought you were funny anyway.
You look like a giant raisin with eyes.
It's a
Well,
good
it
voice.
is time to start Baby Dolls. You all know the game. I will tell you 2 truths and 1 lie from each pathetic loser who couldn't hold my piss water. Blind Mike, Craig, and Hackride, and you, the audience, will have to guess which is the lie. And then we hear the stories behind them. Conceptually, I guess it's not that bad of an idea, but who really cares who these nothings met? Anyway, we will start with Krieger. Oh, Kriegers, give me 2 truths and 1 lie. Okay, number 1. Craig says he did security for Will Smith for a short period while Will's son performed with the Biebs. Justin Bieber. Well, before the slap, I would say this is ludicrous, but Chris Rock's jaw tells me Will Smith is dumb enough to hire Krieger for security. So I believe this. Number 2 is our big boy Craig over here once met the famous movie star and known assaulter, one Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme, at a steakhouse. This one cannot be a lie because food is involved, and Craig subconsciously cannot ever tell a lie where food is involved. What do you think so far, Eric? That's about what I expected. Okay, our final submission by Kriegers. Craig 1 met Rob Dyrdek at a skate park and was told to wait 10 minutes for an autograph. Well, folks, I think we have our culprit. If Craig expects any of us to believe he was doing any physical activity, well, then he is just taking us all for fools. You have my guess, chat, Mike, and Hackride. What say you?
Pause.
I pause.
Yes, all right.
So, Hackride,
Mike,
you can
now
go
we
first.
picked the lie. Yes, is it Will Smith, Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Rod Dyrdek? Which
Hackride,
one
you
is the
don't know,
lie?
you don't know the answers, right? Craig didn't tell you.
No, this is the game. None of us know. I have a feeling. I believe Norm is right there. There is no way physical exertion is part of a story. Craig tells the truth. I pick Rod Dyrdek. Who do you pick, Mike?
I'm thinking Rob Dyrdek also, but it's such a boring story. Like, who would?
That
make
is
that
why.
up?
That is the Craig logic, yes.
It's such an incredibly boring, almost not worth mentioning story that he met Rob Dyrdek. But
Reminder, Craig, don't say anything yet until the next screen. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm thinking Will Smith involves working and not being racist towards black people. I think the Will Smith thing is a lie, probably. Although he didn't say that he wasn't racist, but I'm still going to go with the Will Smith one.
All right, we have 1 Will Smith, 1 Rob Dyrdek. Go ahead and play. There, Craigers. Now press pause again, Craigers.
Okay, I'm so glad. Why didn't you just have 1 pause screen?
No, this is how it works. Because we now will be told by Craig. What is the lie?
The lie was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, he got us, Mike.
You got us, you rascal.
I mean, I get 2 points. I get 2 points, right?
There are no points.
Oh.
All right.
There are no points and the rules don't matter, or whatever it was.
Yes.
On
This is. Have you not noticed the theme to all my games, Blind Mike?
I was not expecting a pause screen again that quick. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's-
All right, we.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Craig.
How is Will Smith?
Yes.
So I was doing security at the Boston Garden, and I was on the floor for the Justin Bieber show, and it was the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life. Just a bunch of preteen girls screaming at the top of their lungs.
I can imagine.
And then my boss taps me on the shoulder and just points, and Will Smith was there, and his son came out and did, I don't know how long, 10 minutes tops with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he came onto the floor, and I had to just make sure no one like attacked him.
Craig went over to Will and said, "Hey, where's old cue ball today?"
Got a slap.
Dude, he was dancing like the Fresh Prince and shit. It was kind of funny.
That's fun. And I'm to understand you stood outside. Rob, can I have an autograph?
So I
love the videos you watch.
Don't make me wait 10 minutes while you skate. How dare you?
I met Kobe Bryant in Disney World, and I just thought Hackride would sniff that one out. So
Yes, I would.
use it. But that was when I was in middle school, and there was like an alien.
Did it have to be people you've met? I didn't use the same rules.
I thought so.
Oh,
that is coming up. Yes. Let's press play.
Okay.
Don't ruin it.
Okay, I'm sure Craig had a hard time explaining how he thought physical exertion would be the smokescreen that fooled you all. Boy, Craig.
I just want to point out I wasn't skating that day, but I used to skateboard.
Oh, we know, Craig. We know.
Craig shredding some gnar down at the park with the boys.
I had my oversized DC shoes on, dude. I used to get into it.
Now it is Hackride's turn in the barrel. Hackride, give me your 2 truths and 1 lie, please. Okay, the first star fucking story from 1DID Demon is Hackride once smoked a giant blunt with Dave Matthews during the recording of the Everyday album. Often cited as his worst album, Hackride may have talked him into what the producer wanted to do, and that was scrap the whole album and write a new one on the spot. Oopsie.
100%
Okay, so this has
Definitely.
Hackride's name all over it. I'm guessing this is true. Okay, the next star fucking story from Hackride. Hackride claims to have done sound for the first Night Watchman show ever. The Night Watchman is, of course, Rage Against the Machine's guitar player, Tom Morello. And Hackride was the lead sound man at the Coconut Teaser in Hollywood at the time. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's cool as shit. Okay, the last story from Hackride
Just
is...
complimenting himself.
Oh, look at that.
Through Norm
Yes.
Macdonald.
Yes.
Hackride
I
claims
have learned from John.
went on a national talk show back in the 2000s and did nothing but plug Hackride's band at the time. There's no way this could be true.
Wait, what was the beginning of that? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Andy Dick went on a late night show and plugged Hackride's band nonstop.
Okay.
It is just using something that is in everyone's mind to trick them into thinking that this isn't the lie. Or is that the lie? Damn it, Hackride. You got me on this one. What the hell is this guy even doing here with you East Coast losers? It doesn't matter which is the lie anymore. Good on you, Hackride. I sure hope
Should I just
some
wait till the
pussy
second
came with
pause
these
screen, by the way?
stories. All right, gang, which Hackride story is full of shit.
Yes, Craig, feel free to step on the jokes anytime you want.
Sorry.
That was a good joke. For nothing. All right, yes. Now, people, decide which is the lie.
Okay. I'm going to
Dave
say...
Matthews, Night Watchman, or Andy Dick?
I remember. I'm going to go with Dave Matthews because it seems like the type of thing you think we would think about you. That
Right.
seemed too much like stereotypical Hackride. So I'm going with Dave Matthews.
I also was going to go with that, but that's no fun. And I'm pretty sure I was told about one of these already. So I'm going to go with number 3, Andy Dick on late night.
You're right. That was a lot more fun. I'm glad you chose that.
Yes,
now we're
I
really
am.
having fun.
But just so
This is a
everyone knows,
party.
just so everyone knows, I think it was Dave Matthews too, but for the game.
Sure.
All right, pause it again, Greg.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Okay, so the false story is... I wish I had a drum roll. I did not do sound for the Night Watchman on his first show.
Really?
I did work at the Coconut Teaser at the time, but I switched shifts with Otis, and I said, Otis, I do not want to do the Crooked Bar tonight. I will do the main bands upstairs. And Otis got to do the Night Watchman, and it drives me crazy to this day. So yes, I fucked up every Dave Matthews fan life. I am sorry about this. But in retrospect, the producer convinced me, so it's really on Glenn Ballard. How dare you, Glenn Ballard? You give us Alanis Morissette, and then you do this? How dare you?
What's the actual story? How did you meet Dave Matthews?
Oh, it's a good question. I worked in a recording studio in my first years in Hollywood, and so I've met a lot of what are now considered elderly musicians, but at the time were contemporaries, and it is a thing I like to tell about myself, because I am a star fucker, and that's why the show is called Star Fucking Edition. 2 lies and 1 truth. Did you enjoy that, Mike?
I did. Again, I didn't know, just to be clear, I didn't realize it was the Star fucking edition.
Oh, don't get too ahead of yourself, Mike. Let's go, Craig. Yes, he did know. He did know.
What's the Andy, hold on. What's the Andy Dick thing?
Andy Dick appeared on, maybe you won't remember this man because you have hair on your face, the Craig Kilborn show. Do you remember a Craig Kilborn?
Yes, I do,
Yes, he was on after Letterman when Letterman was on CBS. And at the time, my bass player, I don't know if he was fucking Andy Dick, but apparently that's what Andy Dick is into. But he was living with him, and Andy Dick followed our band around and really liked us because we were very good, Mike. We were a good band that young gay actors in Hollywood liked.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He's not saying Hackride, though, is he?
Oh, no. The band
that would
was
be great if we had Andy
something
Dick,
else,
drops of
yes.
Andy Dick saying follow Hackride.
Oh, I could get that for a nickel now. I could go to Hollywood Boulevard and roll a nickels and get whatever clip you want from Andy Dick, Mike. Just give me the mission.
That's a good point. All right. Again, I didn't understand.
No,
the rules.
no. Here we go. Here we go.
I met my friend Bill in high school.
Well, yes.
Well, whatever the answer, Hackride, you're all good in my book, baby. You bend them stars over, grease them up, and just go to town. It's a mitzvah watching you work, my friend. Okay, now to our final contestant in a game with no score. Winner or point. One Blind Mike Geary. You know, Blind Mike, as I look at your submissions, I don't quite think you got the gist of the game that we're going for here. I mean, I will read them, but you guys will see. There is very little star fucking going on here.
To say the least.
And the Warthogs once fist fought over the definition of unanswered runs during a Red Sox and Yankees game. There is just so much in that sentence that I don't know or care to know about. But okay, maybe the Warthog is famous in your little tiny depressing area of the woods. Let's see what else Mike
kind
had
of true.
for us in the star fucking edition of Two Truths and One Lie. Eric, are you alive over there? Jesus, you look like a crushed golf ball. Mike's second submission is a doozy. Buckle up, folks. I don't think you are going to be able to handle the insanity that follows. Mike once drunkenly cut a cast off his arm with a pizza cutter. So I guess the star of fucking this story is Mike Geary. The narcissism here is astounding. Anyway, I found this 100% believable because I once asked Mike to do a game and he gave me totally weird. Didn't fit the theme of the game at all. So yes.
He did not give me the rules.
Hackride genuine laughs
once
making me laugh
suspended from a
harder.
college radio station and almost thrown off campus for using the word broad. I see what you are doing here, Blind Mike. Broad, and then cutting off your cast. Broadcast. Broadcast. So clearly we are all just fools in your little world, isn't that right, Mike Geary? Okay, well, it's time for you to decide which one of these stories that weren't
Hackride's
like
really enjoyed this.
Hackride stories is the lie.
I paused it. I did.
I got the giggles. Hold on.
Demon giggles.
You did not tell me to come up with celebrities that I've met.
I thought it was clear.
Just cut your arm.
I sound like a
Cut your
fucking
cast off with the fucking pizza cutter.
Naturally, when I think Two Truths and a Lie, I'm like, you know what? I got to talk about Will Smith right now.
I thought it was wacky stories.
This is a lie, folks. He has no friends that are celebrities. The closest he could get was a pizza cutter.
And a warthog's a big deal.
Yes. Yes, I thought that one would come back to me because I hear you talk about Warthog, I love you. This was all part of the setup. Anyway, I believe...
I guess you can still guess.
Yes, that pizza cutter has to be true. Oh my God, I must hear the story on that. I am going to guess college radio.
I'm going with number 2 because I have a vague recollection of the other 2.
Okay.
I told you not to use things Craig would know, Mike.
I didn't think you would
Jesus.
know these.
Yes. Imagine your life being so boring that everyone knows your story about cutting off a cast with a pizza cutter. You need more in your life, Mike.
Well,
Let's
can
get you
I reveal?
skydiving.
Can I reveal now?
Yes.
Yes.
Number 2 was the lie. It didn't happen to me.
I was right.
Oh, you got me.
I got you. Yeah.
I'm almost positive the other 2 stories have been told on this program.
Is that right?
I believe so.
Oh, he's right. I haven't lived that interesting a life. These are things. These are honestly things I didn't think I've mentioned on the show before. But yeah, the Warthog and I fist fought over. He said we were watching a Red Sox Yankees game once, and I said that the Yankees had scored X number of unanswered runs, and he said, "No, they're answered runs." I don't even want to tell the story anymore.
That got me angrier. I don't even know baseball. How dare he?
Well, it got pretty heated.
And tell us about this. And tell us about this broad and what she did that got you fired from college radio.
That one is a more famous story on this show, probably. That on WSKB, Westfield State's radio station,
Warthog
I
again.
referred to a woman as a broad, and a girl went to the proper authorities on campus and not only got me kicked off the radio, but they considered expelling me and removing me from campus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Starfucker edition.
She must have been a
He didn't
looker.
tell me that. He said, give me 2 truths and a lie.
The most famous woman Mike has ever met.
Yes.
The creative director at the school college radio.
Hey, I could text Dave Portnoy right now, you cocksuckers.
That's very true.
He won't respond, but I could do it.
Yes, I can be left on red by Mike as well.
2 truths and a lie. One of them. Did Dave Portnoy threw a wallet at my face?
Yeah, right.
Let me think.
Well, see, these things people might know.
Yeah.
All right. Is there
Just
more
a
to
little
this?
more here, Greg. Yeah, it's just a little more. Norm says goodbye.
What an amazing show this was. And I hope we all learned something. I learned that Craig can't make up stories without thinking of food. I also learned Blind Mike is
Did you
really
know that
bad
was the
at
lie?
instructions, either reading or following. And finally, I learned that Hackride might be the coolest person on the planet.
All right.
Let alone
Yes.
the Mike project. Anyway, I would say this was worth being torn away from my wildest dreams and fantasies. I just wish that blind guy could follow directions. But then what would be the fun in that? Anyway, for my co-host, the once again sole property of Hackride Studios, Eric the Hacker, and myself, Norm MacDonald. Good night, folks. Wow, that was a real turd. You fuckers seriously dug me up for this. And where is that little mirror bitch? He said Spade was a better stand-up than me. I gotta go eat his tiny brain before I go back to the grave.
Yeah, Norm's the greatest.
I think he's like a poor man's David Spade, honestly.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to cut him loose.
David I don't know.
Yes, everyone let Lil Mir know what you think of that take.
You fucking moron.
He put his @ on the end of the video.
Yes. No, if that is your take, you should defend it. Tell me David Spade is better than Norm MacDonald all over Twitter. Please.
Is that the guy that hates you, or is it the Dr. Chow guy?
Oh, they both hate me, Blind Mike, and that one has a head shaped like a fucking orange. Please let me get that in. Thank you.
You know what's funny is the Jean-Claude Van Damme lie. I initially was going to say I met him at a Planet Fitness, and I went, they'll sniff that one out.
Yes. Yes. We are in your head, Craig.
So I switched it to Steakhouse, and you guys were like, well, that has to
Yeah,
be
we were
real.
working out together, he and I.
This was fun, yes.
This was fun. Now, Hackride, tell us about this Lil Mir guy, because I saw you play a clip of him, and he's calling you like the gayest guy. I mean, he's another one of these
yes,
guys that
no.
doesn't get the Hackride bit, but seems.
Yes.
What I don't
No, you are
understand
spe-
about hatred of you.
Yes, he is speaking of Dr. Chow, not Mr. Little Mir. Little Mir has never commented on me, but Dr. Chow does not like the demon.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Yeah. What I don't understand about the hatred of you is like there are people get you're one of these guys. People get angry about your stuff. It's either
Yes.
I can understand being like, yeah, I don't get it, I don't like it. I don't understand the hatred of you because you're a very, for the most part, non-confrontational guy.
Mostly, yes. Dr. Chow, I probably went in on a little hard at the beginning because I wanted to get a reaction because he's so terrible at broadcasting. But as a person, he's a dabbler, so he has family. So I'm trying to improve him. I'm trying to improve everyone in the Dabbleverse, and sometimes you improve by pointing a stick up their ass. And that is all I'm doing. You saw Little Mir's take there, right? They need help. They don't know what comedy is, and so I'm trying to help them. That is all. And so there is no beef. And the only one I really have beef with in this whole thing, I guess you would say, would be Aaron Imholt. Because that poor damsel needs rescuing. And the man-titted, brassard-wearing man needs to be put down.
Okay, so what do you think of what I was saying about Steel Toe earlier? Agree, disagree? Where do we stand?
I think you have not seen enough. You have not seen him dancing around with his little black monkey doll, making fun of black people. You haven't, which, you know, here, whatever, but it is still weird. You have not seen the amount, you cannot see. This is the problem, Mike.
I think you haven't seen a very good show, but continue.
as uncalled for.
Most of Aaron Imholt's issues are visual, and so for you hear him and you're like, yeah, he is a mid-broadcaster, a flyover Howard Stern, if you will. Yes, but if you were to see him and his hair dye and his bitch tits and the girdle he wears, you would understand. And then if you look next to him and you see a pretty blonde girl next to him that he keeps in line with his bullshit and lies about how great he is, And the only reason he has her is because they live in Minnesota. In LA, she would be dating a mixed martial artist.
I'll tell you when I felt bad for April is I listened to that WATP episode that Brian Johnson and Doug did about Steel Toe. And there's a clip in there where April looks at a picture of her, Aaron, Gino Bisconti, and Gino's girlfriend, Keanu, and said, like, those are my 4 favorite people in the world and the 4 greatest broadcasters that I know, or something like that. And I was like, oh, she's like trapped in this small bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think she thinks that show is a lot bigger than it is. And it seems like Aaron thinks that too. Like Aaron has, 10,000 YouTube subscribers and suddenly thinks he's fucking Howard Stern, which seems crazy to me. But like I said, I don't think he's so unfunny that he deserves all the hate, but Hackride's on your guys' side, those of you that hate him.
It is internet hate. It is not real hate. I save my real hate for the people who try to silence speech on these platforms.
Damn straight,
Fuck them, for real.
Box Eating Dad with the super chat, $2. Love you, Hack Daddy.
Oh, Box Eating Dad, I love you as well.
Dang Lizard, €5. Don't get what's so funny about Mike not understanding the game. How many times do I have to say it? Mike can't read a room.
Yes.
They didn't say it to me. They didn't tell me.
I will produce the evidence on Twitter.
Wow. All right.
I have a feeling I'll find it.
Yes, or make it.
Yeah. Yeah, or make it.
Or make it, yeah.
Mike will be on air telling all of you the truth soon. You just won't be seeing him. It will be an AI Mike.
I do enjoy that. Starfucker edition. Warthog is number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Love Warthog.
A powerful personality.
Did you hear that, Carl Hamburger? You didn't even make the list.
Can we title today's episode "Where's Craig Part 2"?
Yes.
Yes. No.
Don't
call it a comeback.
The aftermath.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Craig, can you please unblock me on Instagram? That would be nice.
Yeah,
We are
unblock him on
teammates.
Instagram.
We are family.
I'm sorry. I went through like the last, I don't even know how many, and just got rid of it.
He wants people to forget Fat Craig. That's what's going on.
Right. Now he's Ozempic Craig.
Yes, Fat Craig did not exist.
I just don't eat
Ever
carbs.
since the Ozempic is kicked in. You know, they say that has like lizard venom in it or something.
Oh, I'm a lizard person now.
I don't think it's good for you.
Craig, as punishment for blocking me, I think you should find the biggest pair of pants you have and put them as the thing behind you on the wall, so we can all be reminded how wide you once were.
Just like, and hear this on every level, just like Jared Fogle.
No.
Yes.
Just like that.
Exactly. In every possible
Yes.
way. Yes.
I don't think it's anything like that.
Yes. Check his browsing history, folks.
Don't do a kiddie porn.
All right. Should we get out of here?
I think so.
All right. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. You still on?
Yep.
Go follow Hackride, for God's sake.
Yes, please do.
Watch
I have a
Puzzle
show.
Box every Thursday night.
Yes, Thursday
11
at
Eastern?
8 p.m. 8 p.m., 11 p.m. Eastern. We are on the late night algorithm, so we can get away with a little more at YouTube, which is nice. Ooh, and I am also, Mike, I want to talk to you about this off air, but I am also on Rumble now, and I think Mike should be on Rumble as well.
I don't disagree with you. Yes.
Yes,
I think
and you can
that's probably a good idea
simulcast, Craig.
based on
It
what
is
we talked
very
about
easy.
earlier.
Yes. So watch Hackride and continue to watch The Blind Mike Project and watch Very Good Show. Yes, we are family.
All right. Yes, watch a Very Good Show. Go to verygoodshow.org.
Yeah.
Support the Craigster. And go to blindmike.net. That's where you can find all the links for this program, wherever you get podcasts. Why Are You Laughing? Which we got a good episode with Drew Lane coming out this week. And
Drew
who are these
Lane.
socials?
Drew Lane.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Drew Lane. Yeah.
You got to burn that.
Not
in
whatever I called him. And who are these socials? You can find all the audio links there as well. You can subscribe to the YouTube. If you're watching now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and tap the notification bell. That helps you know when we go live, and it helps you. It helps us with the algorithm. And if you can subscribe on YouTube, if you want to become a YouTube member, you can do that for bonus Why Are You Laughing episodes, and get even more content on Patreon. If you want to subscribe on Patreon, get those numbers up. We're trying to get back to 750 on Patreon. We really want to get to 1,000. So make sure you subscribe if you're not already. And blindmike.net is where you can find all those links. And now, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Forgot to play Richard Ojeda.
There's always
it wasn't that great.
I was gonna say there's always like 3 days from now when we're recording again.
Yeah. All right, whatever. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
We have a meme transition.
Sappers clear the way.